fraud case he says should never have been brought, just telling reporters
people are sick and tired of what's happening.
Pointing to a New York Times Siena College poll that has him leading President Biden in 5 out of 6 swing states in the survey in a hypothetical matchup. New York's Attorney General Letitia James says Trump, his business, and others inflated asset values and committed fraud, and that Trump used distractions on the witness stand.
But I will not be bullied. I will not be harassed. This case will go on.
The judge complaining about the length of Trump's answers today and telling the defense to control their client. President Biden announces billions of dollars in railroad projects from the bipartisan infrastructure law.
It was good to be home.
A familiar sight for President Biden. Amtrak rail cars near Wilmington, Delaware, as he announced nearly $16.5 billion for rail service along the heavily trafficked Northeast Corridor.
It's the busiest rail corridor in the United States and one of the busiest in the world. And you guys keep it moving.
The president frequently traveled from Washington to Wilmington during his 36 years in the Senate. Amtrak's Northeast Corridor carries about 800,000 passengers a day.
Fox's Jared Halper, and the new federal funding includes major upgrades to tunnels, bridges, and rail lines between D.C. and Boston, and an agreement between Amtrak and union workers. Israel and Hamas facing more calls for a ceasefire.
Nothing can justify the deliberate torture, killing, injuring and kidnapping of civilians.
UN Chief Antonio Guterres, as the U.S. pushes for humanitarian pauses, but offers continued support for Israel's fight against Hamas. Stocks finished higher after a mixed session overall. The Dow up 34 points at the bell. America is listening to Fox News.
Jesse Kelly here. Do you feel protected? My personal protection plan is owning gold. The Oxford Gold Group helps you buy gold to have on hand or convert it into your 401k. If things get weird, I have gold on hand. I like that. You can buy coins or convert part of your 401k with the Oxford Gold Group. It's easy and safe. 833-995-GOLD. That's 833-995-GOLD. 833-995-GOLD.
A lot of schools talk about training the cybersecurity workforce of the future, but do they really deliver? My Computer Career has been supplying the IT workforce with thousands of skilled, certified pros for 15 years. Train with the experts in support, networking, or cybersecurity and start your career in months, not years. Upskill even faster. On campus or live online. Qualified students may get financial aid, including the GI Bill. My Computer Career. Accredited, acclaimed, effective. Take the free career evaluation at mycomputercareer.edu.
A hit and run at Stanford University is being investigated as a hate crime.
California Highway Patrol says a driver in a black Toyota 4Runner hit and injured an Arab Muslim student while yelling expletive, "You and your people."
It's really scary, and it's mentally and psychologically even way more traumatizing.
Yusuf Abu Hashim, a friend of the victim, detailing tensions amid the Israel-Hamas conflict with Fox's KTVU News in the Bay Area. Police say the injured student who is recovering in a hospital describes the driver as a man in his 20s with short blonde hair, a beard, and glasses. Stanford University working with law enforcement saying in a statement, hate-based violence is morally reprehensible and we condemn it in the strongest terms.
Fox's Kristen Goodwin. A car crash also being investigated as a possible hate crime in Indianapolis, where a woman reportedly told police she backed into a building Friday night because she thought it was a Jewish school. No injuries reported. The driver is expected to make a court appearance Wednesday. Some in Congress renewing a push to ban TikTok over ties to China.
Republicans they say they're more determined than ever to try to ban the app after seeing the power that TikTok has to influence young Americans in light of the Israel-Hamas war. Congressman Mike Gallagher saying China is using TikTok to push anti-American propaganda to divide Americans and destroy our country from the inside out. TikTok plays a huge part in how young Americans view current events. Most use the app as a #1 way to get the news. So if they're consuming propaganda and content that is not factually accurate, that can have detrimental political consequences after reports claimed that anti-Semitism was on the rise on the app and that pro-Palestinian, pro-Hamas content was surging.
Fox Business's Hillary Vaughn on Capitol Hill. Recapping Wall Street, stocks finished higher. They had been lower at times during the session, but the Dow up 34 points, the S&P up about 7. The NASDAQ gains 40. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News.
Hello again, everyone. Let's check weather for East Central Illinois. Champaign and Van Ness Saturday. Nice spell of weather, unseasonably mild environs over the first half of the week. We'll get a typical early to mid-November cold front to whistle through the area. Temperatures back to, if not a bit below seasonal norms later this week. Another big warm-up slated for next week, and just a little spot or two of rain in between. No significant additional harvest delays expected in the coming days. Up near 70 for the day today with a partly sunny sky and gusty southwest wind. Yeah, a couple of raindrops and a brief shower around for this morning of no consequence. Mostly cloudy tonight, mild down near 50. Tomorrow, partly sunny, continued mild, 67 on a light north-northeasterly wind. On Wednesday, back into the 70s with some shower activity breaking out, especially in the afternoon. And Wednesday night, much cooler weather with highs in the 50s Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We'll continue with readings into the 50s early next week, and then 60s back into play. Quiet weather pattern expected to evolve across much of the Corn Belt, East Central Illinois included, for next week as well. For Stevie J Broadcasting, I'm meteorologist Greg Solgay.
It's Isaiah Williams motioning out of the backfield. Pump to him, over the middle. Altmaier on the money for a touchdown. Tip Ryman with the opening score for the Illini. They're perfect on third down. Altmaier back to the end zone and threads it in for 6 more. Isaiah Williams on the receiving end. After Joyner forced the turnover, it's third down. Passing set, Kaliak-Manis can't get away from Newton. Johnny Newton has arrived in this game for the Illini.
And he's letting everybody know it, too.
Fegan used in the pass game, swinging it out, and he cuts off of that block. The big man rumbling down the sideline, not just a power back. Fegan with a touchdown. The backup quarterback, Paddock, in the game for the Illini, trying to keep it alive. Unloads, connects with Williams. A bullseye. Paddock deep down the field. Paddock throws it in there. John Paddock, a hero for the Illini.
To guess who? We need a big play. Who do we go to? Right down the middle. What a great throw.
Potential season-defining play for Minnesota. Kaliak-Manis, incomplete. And Illinois is going to get out of Minneapolis again with Brett Bielema winning this game against the Gophers.
This is how legends are made.
Hey, what's
Let's
up?
go!
What's up? What's up? Great work to Kyle Toss, by the way, putting in the intro.
Absolutely.
I'm sure Illini fans could relive that one over and over again. What's up? It's The Drive with Sam Piper, ESPN Radio, 93.5. Derek Piper, Lante, Jay Lehman. It's the Jay Lehman Hour, as always, on Mondays. Jay, how's it going, man?
Oh, man,
What's
it's a lot more fun when we win. Let's go!
Yeah.
John
Hey,
Paddock for president.
It's John Paddock's world.
2024.
We're just all living in it.
I'd be all right with that. We don't care who the vice president is. We just want Paddock 2024. He's the guy. We're in it. Paddock, Fegan 2024.
Let's go.
That's
There you
in.
go. I like it.
We got it all.
If they promise to mute it, the game is on right now, Big Ten Network, because I was down at Ole Miss. I went to the Grove, saw an amazing game. I still have not watched the Illini game. Now, I've seen every highlight possible, Jay. I've read the stat lines. I've read all the stories on Illini Inquirer.
Not a real fan.
Not a real fan. You're right. You're exactly right.
Transferred to the SEC.
I even bought Ole Miss swag, so I'm like,
First the son goes to the
not a bad place to be.
Pac-12. You know, then the kid from Camargo sends his kids the opposite wherever his home school team is.
I think Andrew, when he got down to campus both Friday and Saturday, made it pretty clear that, yes,
He
this
committed?
is where I'm going.
We don't
He
know
committed.
if it was the school or the personnel down
Correct.
there. The personnel sometimes has a draw on young boys more than the school itself.
I'm like, these buildings are beautiful, Andrew. He's like, yep.
Yep. Yes, sir.
Whatever you think, Dad.
Great personnel.
Illinois basketball plays tonight. The
Yeah,
Cubs
they do.
have a new manager. They just shafted David Ross, I guess, or I don't know what happened there with Craig Counsell coming in. I mean, there's a lot to talk about, but
Kyle's got to be in a really good mood today.
Oh, yeah. Of course, I remember when they were.
Except the Dolphins got railroaded.
Oh, that's right.
But man, we can talk about all that stuff. But we just had a top 5 Illinois football game that I can remember watching. And I'll tell you, I went crazy. I was on Big Ten Network, and I'm watching the game. Obviously, the game's on the air, and I'm going absolutely berserk. And everybody's next to me is like, hey, there's still a lot of time left. I was like, dude, we got number 4 Johnny Newton on defense. They ain't doing nothing with Johnny Newton. I've seen the 2-minute movie before, and everybody said, hey, we've seen this movie play out before. Illinois folds in the fourth quarter. I'll tell you what, this year, though, 3 comeback drives, 2 by Luke Altmaier, 1 by John Paddock to win the game, 2 of them fourth down dramatic fashion, 1 against Toledo and 1 against Minnesota. Hats off to the offensive line, the quarterbacks, the receivers, and Barry Lunny making plays and dialing up to give us 3 big wins down the stretch and a shot, not only at a bowl game, but at the West Division. I still can't believe we're playing for the West Division possibly
unbelievable.
In November. Let's go.
How improbable is John Paddock coming in, not throwing 1 pass since, 2 months ago?
Penn State. Yeah, let's start with the end in mind. Let's do a Stephen Covey here. We don't have to start at the beginning. Let's start at the end.
Yes.
It's very improbable, right? So he transfers from Ball State, starts 12 games at Ball State. He's Illinois legacy, right? His great-grandfather, Bob Wright, track coach here at Illinois, John Wright Sr., his grandfather, All-American receiver here, John Wright Jr., early 90s receiver here. That's his uncle. And so he's got Illinois blood in him, right? And he comes here and says, I want to win the starting quarterback spot. He doesn't win it. Struggles early on in Penn State pretty badly. Actually finishes the Penn State game with decent numbers, actually, if you'll look at the numbers, but doesn't have the outing that he would probably want to give him a chance to fight for that job. And then you see Altmaier get hit on 3rd down, and they have not said that it's a concussion. I'm purely speculating. All I can say is
he hit his head pretty hard.
Hit his head hard on the turf. It didn't look right, according to Bielema. They bring in Paddock probably without a warm-up throw at all, guys. On 4th and 11 from the 85, sidesteps some pressure, hits Isaiah Williams, then hits Pat Bryant on the dig route, curl route, then actually hits Casey Washington on the out route, but on a comeback route. But what ends up happening is they called a timeout. Brett's fired up about that. And then they get him in the coverage where they motion Isaiah Williams over. We see Paddock look to the left, buys time with his legs, and steps into the throw and throws the most beautiful post route to Isaiah Williams I have ever seen. Guys, 3 for 3, 85 yards, passer rating of 448, and a boatload of memories right there. He didn't have to throw another pass to actually say this season was complete. Hats off to John Paddock. We get a lot of coach speak guys about, you never know when your moment's going to come, blah, blah, blah. Well, he just said, man, that came, and I'll tell you what, that moment happened in his mind hundreds of times over before it actually manifested on the field. He got his moment and made it happen.
Good call.
Woo!
The John Paddock game, Pipes.
Yeah,
We'll be talking about it for years.
I'm stunned. I'm absolutely stunned. And while it was a nice, obviously, closing there in the fourth quarter, it looked like it was going to be the same script as usual, which you blew a fourth quarter lead. Minnesota scores with about 5.5 to go. They go up
off a bad fumble.
Yes.
From Isaiah Williams.
Right. You're right. And then, you're 4th and 11 with a backup quarterback who hasn't thrown a ball.
The best way I could describe it, as I was telling these guys upside, guys, I've been watching Illinois football a long time. Of course, Dave Revson says, I watch Illinois football every week. And I was like, that's true, Dave. But I said, I've seen this movie before. Illinois is going to lose this game, right? But when they throw that touchdown, I said, actually, I bought the DVD and I checked out the alternate ending, and this is the alternate ending, guys, because I had seen the movie going out, and it was an alternate ending for John Paddock. I'm jumping up and down. We go to post game, and I just go straight into fanboy Illinois commercial mode. I take the non-bias hat off, and I'm just yes! Can you believe it? I mean, I got to sit next to an Iowa and a Wisconsin alum, and they're always talking about we're the best in the West, blah blah blah. And I just, for once, it was like, yeah!
How easy.
Okay, sorry, that's all. I mean, we keep talking about
No.
John Paddock's my guy.
He's everybody's boy
John
right
Paddock,
now.
come to Long Branch. We can probably get you a free meal on me
I
and
guarantee
Donnie.
you.
But we need to have you do a promo to make it legal for NIL. Okay, there we go.
Jay, the 4th and 11 throw. How easy it would have been to just be so amped up. Number one, to maybe airmail it over Isaiah's head or just to maybe check off of him and get caught looking around the field because it's the last play of the game, essentially, if Illinois doesn't get it. He just stepped back and ripped that baby.
Dude is poised, right? It was like Isaiah said, it's not what he said, it's the way he made me feel, right? Like he just had a poise when he got in there.
Love it.
And here's the deal. I mean, Minnesota, come on, man. I mean, you talk about just collapse. I mean, there's like breakdowns and there's collapses. It's 4th and 11. The guy has 11 receptions to this point. He's the leading receiver in the Big Ten. Who's the ball going to? I mean, come on, let's go. Come on, man. Like, seriously. Alert, number one. Alert. Like, duh. Like, I have like 4 guys. He threads the needle, 4 guys, right?
He did.
To his credit, comes back and hits Pat Bryant. Here's the deal about Pat Bryant. Pat Bryant has a chance to be a good receiver, side note. But 3 times in this game, he had a chance to score 2 touchdowns and 1 2-point conversion where it hit his hands, and he didn't come up with it. Great plays by the Minnesota DBs. But if we're going to have Pat Bryant take the next step as a receiver, you might have 7-8 balls a year that touch your hands in the end zone, right? You got to come down with the vast majority of those if you want to be a great receiver, right? And so, but to his credit, Pat Bryant makes the catch. Casey Washington makes the catch. And here's the thing people think about. That play with Casey Washington makes the catch, and then they said, oh, no, Minnesota called a timeout. What you do as a defender, you're like, okay, well, they just ran this play. I bet they're going to run like a hitch and go to Casey Washington down the sideline. I think that influenced Tyler Nubin. John Paddock looks him off to the left just enough to carry Nubin over to the
Great
over
call.
and opens up and lets the eyes be red because they're in that cover 2 zone coverage. And then Lindenberger, the Mike linebacker from Minnesota, actually gets 20 yards depth on cover 2. Not bad, but it's not deep enough. And he splits both of those safeties because that safety has 3 receivers. The other safety has 3 receivers overside. I like Tyler Nubin. I think he's a good football player.
Sure.
He gave up 2 touchdowns in the game. He had a bad angle on Caden Fagan. At 6'4", 255, he outrun Tyler Nubin's angle. He wasn't expecting him to be that fast on that pass play.
I wouldn't want to hit him.
Okay? He was freight train, right? It wasn't quite a business decision, but it was definitely didn't have the speed, right?
Correct.
And so he gave up a touchdown there with a bad angle and then gave up a winning touchdown. Now, he had a pick, and I'm not saying Tyler Nubin lost that game. But, man, what great execution down the stretch. Got to give credit to the offensive line. You got to give credit to Barry Lunny as well. But John Paddock's the guy making the throws and decisions, and he'll go down as a legend if he doesn't throw another football. It's kind of the same feeling, not as big a game as maybe beating Michigan in 1993. But when I watched Johnny Johnson hit little Jimmy Klein when I was 8 years old, you know, in the end zone, Simeon Rice caused that fumble. And, I mean, Pipes, you were just like 1 at this point. But, man, I remember my uncle being like, yes, because he's like, you don't know how many of these you get. And boy,
you're right.
He was right, right? You know, so it's those memories you have. So anyway, I could talk more and more about it. We can also talk about how we got to that in the game. We can talk about Johnny Newton, talk about Caden Fagan, talk about what Luke Altmaier's done because he had a great game as well, right? So there's a lot of different things and things to build on. I've just been talking a lot, guys. But before I throw it back to Pipes, let me tell you about the sponsors that make this possible, which is Iroquois Federal, guys. Your one-stop shop for all your lending needs. Bob Guido, Mark McHale, Ryan Lowry, Brenda Crane, located in Savoy and Champaign. You got a home loan, business line of credit, business loans. I do all my loans, or most of them, with Iroquois Federal. Bob Guido is my guy. I do all my insurance with Kyle Lewis. Kyle at IPG Insurance. Kyle at IPGINS.com. Kyle at IPGINS.com. Why don't you send him an email right now and say, Jay Lehman sent me. I was listening to him on the drive with Tay and Piper. Talk to him. And, of course, Long Branch Steakhouse. We're trying to get John Paddock out there. John Paddock, you know, he didn't even know that word. We're trying to get him out there. But open from Wednesday to Sunday, 5 to 9 in beautiful downtown eclectic Gifford. If you go for the steak, you got to keep coming back for the fried pickles. If you haven't tried the fried pickles, stop by Gordyville, say, hey, Coaches versus Cancer's coming up here once a year or whatever they do there, and then stop by, I'm just random right now, and then stop by Long Branch Steakhouse. Okay, Pipes to you. That was a 6-minute monologue. We're on talk radio, and I thought it was a podcast.
This is why we love the Jay Lehman Hour here every Monday on the drive with Tay and Piper. Jay, I got to ask you this. One more on John Paddock. So realistically, I mean, you've been through a lot of game weeks.
Sure.
Realistically, how many reps has a guy like that taken with maybe not even the ones, but with guys that he's throwing to on that drive, executing plays that are actually within the Illinois playbook and not maybe just mimicking the scout team offense and like, okay, now I'm learning what Minnesota's going to run.
Right.
How much is that going on during the week leading up to that?
A typical second-string quarterback would get a fourth of the reps. So let's say a certain period has 16 plays. He would get 4. Luke Altmaier would get 12. Now, according to Brett,
they've been
Donovan Leary's been actually, progressing, and Paddock's done in 3 or 4 games, right? I mean,
Right.
there's
Yep.
3 guaranteed games left, maybe 4. He has no more eligibility left. So that's not uncommon. It's not a knock on Paddock. It's just
No.
like, okay, we got to start developing this guy. So he probably had less than that coming in, right? Less than that. But, man, so much moxie, so much poise. And, as Barry Lunny, too, you're like, okay, what can I call this guy in? It seemed like he had the whole playbook open to him, which is basically look for number 1, if not open, hit 13. Look for number 1, if not open, look for Casey Washington. Look for number 1, right? And so all those different things. But the ability to look away, like just the ability to look somebody off.
That's a great point.
With just coming in, like not just being, okay, throw this, throw those. He was actually running the play, going through progressions, using his feet to escape some of the pass rush as well, to buy some time. And the way he stepped into that last throw, knowing he was going to take a hit and throwing probably the best ball we've seen all year.
No doubt.
Man, that was just incredible. And I will say Luke Altmaier also played a good game up
Yes,
into
he
that
did.
point, especially the first half. I think he was like 15 for 19 in the first half or something crazy. And since the Penn State game, let me just say this. And Luke, by the way, coming up at 4:05 today, he's a great talk. You guys do a great job with him. Since the Penn State game, Brett said, hey, listen, he's got 10 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 1,300 yards. I mean, he's the best quarterback in the West. He's better than Hudson Card.
Nice.
He's got more eligibility. I mean, he's got the same amount of eligibility. He's been better than Hudson Card. Definitely better than Brendan Sullivan and the guys they got playing at Northwestern. Deacon Hill, I'm not even going to mention Deacon Hill, other than Deke Sneak, the quarterback sneak. I mean, if you watch the guy play, Henrik Harbor can run the quarterback. And Athian Cali at Manasota, though he's an Illinois guy, you could have him.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I think he's the best. If we have somebody you can build around, along with Caden Fagan. Man, I am jumping all over the place. It's exciting when we win. I'm a different guy when we win. My hopes are up. My bandwagon's back.
Let's go. More improbable, the finish with Paddock or me saying 1 minute of talk in the first 20. I mean, seriously, more improbable. I don't know what is. No, wait, I've got one more on Paddock, and then I'll even allow Pipes to take a break, and we can segue to the next, what else we want to ask you. Do me a favor and slow that down for me.
Okay.
So 3rd down, Altmaier gets hit. Take it from there. What is going on, number one, in Paddock's mind? What's going on in Barry Lunny and Brett Bielema's mind? In terms of Lunny thinking now all of a sudden, okay, I've got a 4th down play for Altmaier, and now all of a sudden I don't have Altmaier in there.
Sure.
Now I've got Paddock. And, of course, Pipes asked you about that crucial 4th down play. Slow that down for me, and what exactly goes on in the next 30 seconds or 45 seconds to get Paddock on the field and then a 1st down for Isaiah
Well,
Wynn?
I don't think we have any timeouts at this time.
I don't think so either.
The only thing that's going on is that Luke Altmaier is banged up and they got to get him off the field. Okay, so they get him off the field, and you got to make it. It sounds like Brett looks over at Jeremy Bush, the trainer, and kind of shakes his head and says, like, "Hey, he's going to be out until we evaluate him." He might have been able to come back. We don't know. But he's not going to come back for that play. But remember, when you stop play for any reason and you don't have a timeout for a player, he can't come back that play.
Right.
He has to sit out. So they know right now that play, we got to go with Paddock.
Yes.
And it switches to, okay, what is our best 4th and 11 play? It's going to center around your best player. Now, interestingly enough, more often than not, you'll see this throw to the numbers and in between the numbers and the hash. Now, Ron Zook used to call this the monument. He said if you stuck a monument or a statue in between the numbers and hash, it would knock down 10 passes a game just by standing there. Because that's how many balls get thrown there. And the reason that is, you call that in between the hook, which is on the hash, and the curl, which is on the numbers. So the hook to curl zone, it's in between oftentimes the corner zone, which is the boundary to the numbers, and the linebacker zone, which is the middle of field to the hash, and they've got to come together to make that play. And what you'll see on that throw is it's in between four defenders, right, to make the catch. And so I think Paddock knows where he's going. He might do a little look off and then sidestep, keep his eyes downfield. He knows his best hands and his best chance are Isaiah Williams, and he makes the play. Once you get a new set of downs, you do have a little breathing room. Brett is, in hindsight, say, there was a lot of time. Brett, there's not a ton of time with our offense getting down the field with no timeouts. Think about this. You get a sack, you lose the game.
Yes.
You get tackled in bounds, it's 20 seconds off the clock. Well, so there's all these different things. There's not a lot of time, Brett, in my mind. Like, you think there's a lot of time. There's not. So they get the fresh set of downs. And then what I give them credit for is they mix it up with a Pat Bryant play that's at the sticks, okay? Because if you're going to throw it under 2 minutes, you can stop the clock at the sticks, and he gets a little yak to get to the 46. Now, once I'm above the 50-yard line, guys, the game changes. Think about this. That's where most shots in NFL in college happen, between the 40 and the 40, called the alumni zone, because most of the rich alumni sit between the 40 and the 40. And
I'm learning a lot on this.
In the alumni zone, you will see the most shots, because if you connect on a deep pass, it's going to be a touchdown. Rather, if I'm at my own 20 and make a deep pass, I could get down to the 15. I'm still in the red zone, right?
Exactly.
So you're going to take your shots in the alumni zone, and you have enough time now that it's not just a Hail Mary, right? I can actually dink and dunk, and there's a threat of something down the field, something shallower, right? Which is ultimately what keeps Newman up. Because if this is a Hail Mary, he's at the goal line just waiting and knocking the pass down.
That's right.
So he gets all of these things that line up in a corner, but you still got to make the throw. You can have collapses from the Gophers, right? The Gopher dam can bust, which it did, right? Do the Gophers make dams or beavers, right? Whatever they are. There's a bunch of rodents in the Big Ten West between the Badgers. We'll throw the Wolverines and the Big Ten is. That's another rodent, right? It's the rodent package. Hawkeyes could maybe be classified as that, right?
Probably.
The squawks, as we talk about it, right? So we get the rodent package. All we need is Oregon State to join in, right?
Exactly.
The Beavers.
We missed out on
so
that.
So anyway, here's what I would say is they had a collapse defensively for sure, but you still got to make the plays. And John Paddock made the plays. And I will say this, the following drive, Johnny Newton really impacted that 2-minute drive as well with his pressure on the quarterback and what he did. Yeah. Guys, I think we need to take a break. When we come back, we're going to break it down from first quarter to John Paddock, because we just broken John Paddock, down to the end. We're going to get all your questions. We're going to hit the text line. I really want to give a shout out to 651. Jay's post game on BTN was the greatest thing he's ever seen. Thank you for watching. It was
awesome.
That.
I saw that too.
I was excited. What if Paddock doesn't like fried pickles? You can call me Sal. Listen, everybody likes the fried pickles there, and we're going to get him out there and do an NIL deal. Dawn Job says, perfect. I'm leaving Paxton now. I'm super excited. She says, I think that means she's going to a Long Branch, a beautiful downtown Lake Gifford. We got all kinds of stuff. We got Lunny's play calling. We got Paddock, 2 wins away from eligibility from Benny. We got recorded the game. They listened to Brian Barnhart give the call, and Martin. It's just exciting.
It is.
Come on back, guys.
It is.
Take us to commercial for us, all right? I don't know how to get
You're doing everything else, so I might as well do something here.
We got to give Isaiah love, too, when we come back.
Give Isaiah love. But, I mean, John Paddock saved your season. You're 3-6 if he doesn't make those throws. Obviously, a lot of different conversation we'd be having today if not for that. So I'm glad we spent the due time with him. But as Jay said, after this, we'll tackle Johnny Newton. We'll talk about Luke Altmaier's play a little bit more and just what led up to Illinois being able to get a win there, a huge win in Minneapolis in comeback fashion and leaving that path to a bowl game and even, as crazy as it sounds, potentially winning the West.
That's
even though
crazy.
It doesn't even sound right.
It doesn't.
And I don't personally see it happening. But
we got to be Rutgers fans now. We got to be
Rutgers
Rutgers
in Maryland, because if Nebraska and Iowa lose and Minnesota wins out, we're there.
Yep.
And we win out. Of
course,
right.
we'd have to win
I mean, I grew up, like I said, guys, I grew up with Harry Carey saying in August, we're 30 games behind the Cardinals. Oh, guys, we are not mathematically eliminated yet. Here, they're friendly confines. I mean, so guys, it's certainly not a stretch like that. If Harry Carey was our announcer, he would be all about it right now.
There you go.
I mean, he's been talking about the mathematical elimination for years when it comes to cards. I mean, it's like, and Cards fans just sit there and laugh. They're like, oh my gosh, this guy has had a few too many cold ones.
This is awesome.
Before we catch a break. I got to tell you about Busey. All you need is love and financial intimacy before you walk down the aisle. Busey suggests setting a solid financial footing. Their experts suggest the following tips for financial intimacy with you and your spouse-to-be. Keep finances separate or combined. Consider individual spending and saving habits. Make this decision together. Will help you find a system that works. Couples that tackle money problems together and take responsibility for solving them will find that their relationship is better for it. Share credit and also a thing called the Cupid's Arrow. Develop a plan to shoot down existing debt, starting with the balances that carry the highest interest rates. Sweet savings. Decide how much you want to save as a couple and withdraw funds automatically from your paychecks. Whether it's personal mortgage, business, cash management, and wealth management, visit Busey.com or stop by one of their convenient locations today to discuss these things with their experts. Busey, member FDIC.
Welcome to Dick Van Dyke Appliance World.
Hi, I'm looking for a refrigerator.
When you buy from us, you get the whole store.
Oh, yeah, well, I just need a refrigerator. Don't need the whole store.
But you get it, the whole store.
My kitchen is only about this big.
You get me.
Hello.
All those delivery, installation, and service technicians in back.
Wow, all those people?
The Dick Van Dyke 5-10-year protection plan, which means in the unlikely event something goes wrong in the first 5 years, your repair cost is nothing.
Nothing?
10 years parts coverage on the major components.
Looks like I'm getting more than a refrigerator today. How much does this whole store cost me?
Nothing. Come on. For real. We guarantee to beat any competitor's deal, all that other stuff we talked about, like our service tax.
And your 5-10-year protection plan?
All included.
I'm Dennis Freak and chairman of Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. And when we say you get the whole store, we mean the whole store. Wow!
Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. When you buy from us, you get the whole store.
Hi, I'm Tyler Weaver, president of Carpet Weaver's Flooring and Furniture Gallery. Take a look around your home. Is it finally ready for some much-needed updates? If you don't know where to start, then just meet with one of our experts. We'll help you find the perfect waterproof plank floor for your kitchen or that stain-resistant, super soft carpet for your bedroom. Finish your room update with a custom sofa and chairs, or choose a trendy in-stock dining set that's priced right. Come home to Carpet Weavers, where floors, furniture, and family meet.
Hey, where are you headed?
To Kelsey Furniture in Tuscola.
What do they have there?
What don't they have there? Living room furniture, benches, chests, love seats, sectionals, tables, bedroom sets, hutches, nightstands, end tables, cabinets, mirrors, stools, clocks, lamps, pillows, rugs, desks, media consoles, patio furniture, Tempur-Pedic mattresses, and more.
So, everything.
Yeah, probably could have just said that.
Kelsey Furniture, quality for less.
You moved into your new home using 2 men in a truck. The garage was clean. Then,
I love the new recliner. What are we going to do with this old one?
Put it in the garage for now.
over time, this cycle continued.
Garage for now. Put it in the garage for now. Put it in the garage for now. Put it in the garage for now.
It happens. You got junk. Call 2 Men in a Truck to get rid of all your junk. Residential or commercial, 2 Men in a Truck has a solution for your junk removal. Contact them at 2menchampagne.com.
2 men in a truck.
Back on the drive with Sam Piper, ESPN Radio 93.5. It is the Jay Lehman Hour, breaking down Illinois' 27-26 thrilling win there in Minneapolis on Saturday. Illinois improves to 4-5, a path to a bowl game. We were talking about the Big Ten West right before the break. Crazy. It's crazy.
Try to explain that. Guys, I watched Iowa and Northwestern.
Oh, my goodness.
To the 10, was it 10-7 or something? Or what
Yeah,
was the
10-7.
final?
10-7.
At Wrigley Field, right?
Then I turn on Washington USC, who will be. It was 52-42. Thank goodness Alex Grinch got fired. Wow, I mean USC has some of the worst defense I've seen. Now they got some dudes at Washington, right? But man, I was like, wow, what a difference in games. You know, my goodness.
Somebody on Twitter put the Northwestern Iowa game to like old school music. And
it was in black and white.
Yeah, black and white. It was so funny to watch that.
169 yards for Iowa, 170 for Northwestern. It was just
What
brutal.
did you guys talk about, you and Revson? Like, that's the lowest
yardage, maybe?
To win a game or something
Yeah,
in a decade or something.
Something crazy. Revson, you've never met a guy that can tag stuff with more facts than that dude. I'm like, Rever. He'll be like, yeah, this is the worst game they've had since 1904. Fielding Yost was da-da-da. You know, he's a guy literally wrote a book on college football. So
Very cool.
He knows his stuff inside and out and knows the league really well.
Iowa's got like 6 touchdowns, Pipes, in the last 6 weeks.
Yeah.
And they've won every game almost.
And half of them are special teams and defense.
That's
right?
unreal.
I mean, it is insane the way they kind of find out ways to win.
Yep.
Of course, Brian Ferentz been let go. As far as next year, he's not coming back.
Right.
You know, Kirk talked about that and whatnot, and obviously, I think it's everybody knows it was needed. But man, it's been interesting. I've heard rumors of Scott Frost being the OC, but I don't know if that's true or not.
I did see that was like the 6th or 7th highest scoring game at Wrigley Field this season. On the note of Kyle's Cubs.
They were pitching a no-no through the first half.
They did.
I mean, it was like, well, I need to forget Hendricks. These guys are my pitchers that I need.
Right. On the note of offense, though, early on, Illinois really got in a rhythm. I like the balance of run and pass. We were going to talk about how you get to the situation leading up to John Paddock coming in, but it seemed like you mentioned in the first segment, Luke Altmaier was making some good plays, good decisions, and I just liked what Barry Lunny Jr. was able to have working there in that first quarter.
First off, the offense did a tremendous job of keeping us in the game without Johnny Newton available in that first half, because we're a different defense without Johnny Newton. That's obvious. Got to turn over early, and I really like the play called to Tip Ryman in the red zone.
Yes.
It's a big tendency for Illinois to hit the tight ends in the red zone, but it's still working. So phenomenal job by that. But I'll tell you what has changed the last 3 weeks is you've got finally an offensive line that's playing consistently. Guys are playing in the same spots 2-3 weeks in a row, and Caden Fagan is running the football. Guys, I think if you look at the first 6 games, our third down on average is probably 3rd and 7.5 or 8. I think our third down the last 3 games is probably 3rd and 3.
Wow.
That's a huge difference. Now we're putting the defense in conflict. Is it going to be a run? Is it going to be a pass? They don't simply know. Guys, when a defensive lineman like Johnny Newton knows it's a pass, 3rd and 8 plus, and it's 95% pass, and oh, by the way, if it's a run, most of the time you're going to be able to rally and get them before the first down. These D linemen can tee off. And they were teeing off on us the first 6 weeks, right? Because we're in 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9. But Caden Fagan, the ability to run the football, we've seen Barry Lunny game plans actually fold out without being 2 or 3 touchdowns back and just try to – we don't have the offense to catch up like that. So I like what Barry Lunny's done. I like that he had 17 targets to Isaiah Williams, right? That opens up a lot. He's the leading receiver in the Big Ten as far as receptions, not in yardage. That belongs to the best college football player, I believe, Marvin Harrison Jr., right? And probably a number 1 or number 2 or number 3 pick in the NFL draft. But it's been the run game that has allowed us to actually do a Lunny game plan, have some rhythm throwing the ball, have Isaiah Williams get open, have Pat Bryant have a chance to make some of those plays. I need to bring those down. But it's been Caden Fagan run the ball, and what he did as far as on his pass play, outrunning the angle of Tyler Nubin, incredible. So I'm excited, but it's been the run game that's really helped Luke Altmaier. Like I said, I think he started the game 9 for 9 or 9 for 10.
Yeah.
His first half was 15 for 19.
3 touchdowns on the day.
Guys, I mean, he's the best quarterback in the Big Ten West. Now, it's not a high bar. But he's going to be here 2 more years. I think if you look back, Illinois is like, I'm sure glad we got him rather than Hudson Card. Hudson Card's got a confidence issue. He might have better tangibles, maybe a bigger arm, maybe a bigger body, but he certainly doesn't have the moxie of Luke Altmaier. And he's got a lot of moxie. But John Paddock, we got to give him his love too.
Amen.
Great backup QB. That's a lot right there.
Caden Fagan gives you a stat line, to your point, almost like you would see with another, like a Wisconsin back in the past, et cetera, like a Braylon Allen. Give me the 15 carries, 90 yards, 3 catches, 60 yards. That catch and run.
Yeah.
Did that just open the eyes of a couple scouts in the NFL? Not right now, but to say, dang, I didn't know he had that in him.
Guys, he's 6'4", 255. He's not like Chase Brown, who is 5'10", 6 foot, 200 pounds.
And he just outran guys.
He outran the 2 best defenders, Nubin and Lindenberger, who are 2 NFL players.
Yeah.
Right? And I got some good blocking on the edge right there by Tip Ryman and Pat Bryant. But here's the thing. If you're an unblocked middle linebacker, you need to make that play if the running back's going to the flat. That's your play. Lindenberger took a bad angle, got outran. Nubin, you're the safety. You're unblocked, nobody behind you. You need to make that play. What I love about Fagan is this. One, people aren't talking about this. His ball security.
Yeah.
Has he fumbled as a freshman? Guys, Devin Mockabee for Purdue has 9 fumbles. Hello.
I'm knocking on wood.
Okay. He hasn't fumbled. Okay. Good ball security. He rarely has lost yardage plays. He makes something out of nothing and falls forward. He's got better acceleration out of the hole than other big backs, right? And I think you've got to have him as your number 1 back next year, right? I mean, I don't think anybody's going to, even if Reggie Love comes back, I think Fagan's proven that, man, he's the guy to be. He can be a Braylon Allen guy, right? But he pulled away from people yesterday, right? I mean, this is a big dude. You can see why he was a 4-star recruit, why everybody wanted him. Yes. But I think Illinois got him because Brett, number 1, Illinois guy, but said, we're actually going to play you at running back. I think other schools, it was, hey, you're an athlete. We'll play at linebacker. We'll play at tight end. We got tons of dudes at running back. Brett's giving him a chance, and he's also a valuable player on special teams. Been playing on the punt team as well.
Pipes a year ago, kids from Arcola and Villa Grove were trying to tackle KJ.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, and I know, and shout out to Allah.
And shout out to those kids.
That's funny to think about.
I mean, I think Allah's had a good program this year too. I don't know if
They
they're still
did.
winning.
Had a great program. They got upset.
Did they get upset?
Yep.
I didn't think they were 10-0 going in that game.
Yep.
But Caden Fagan in that league. I mean, my goodness. No
wonder Andrew didn't go out for football.
No, right.
I don't know if he would have played against St.
He
Thomas
would not
more,
have, but
yeah,
I get your point.
I know what you mean. Jay, before we move on to the impact that Johnny Newton made in the second half, how'd you think Illinois' defense did in the first? It seemed like maybe up front, not as big of an issue. It was really the secondary that was getting taken advantage of it. What'd you think of the run defense? Because that was a big spotlight area before Johnny Newton was then obviously eligible to play in the second half.
So remember, Jordan Newey ran for 204 yards against Michigan State the previous week, okay? So number one, remember that. Number two, I would say they were going to take away the run and make Ethan Kaliakmanis actually beat them with the throw. So they ran that bear front, which is 3 down linemen, 2 outside linebackers, and they did a good job of taking away the run. Daniel Jackson made some catches. Everybody made catches for Minnesota, but the reason is they made catches because they had time. He had a lot of time, and that was the difference. Guys, the moment that Johnny Newton got on, we could not get first off, nobody could get a third down stop in the first half. Nobody. No. Look at the third down stats. Illinois is like 9 for 8, 9 for 10. Minnesota was like 7 for 8. Nobody got off the field during the money down. The defenses were going broke on the money down. But what ends up happening is Johnny Newton comes in. He's the second play he gets in, he swims the guy and stops the run, takes on 2 or 3 blockers. And then the third play, he beats a double team, okay, and gets a sack. Not only that, the only other sack we get is Odeluga and I think Seth Coleman got the sack. Odeluga jumped in late.
That's right.
But Coleman gets it. That's because they double team Johnny. Odeluga and Coleman do a stunt. Nobody blocks Coleman because everyone's watching Johnny Newton. On the 2-minute drill, Johnny Newton gets pressure, makes Ethan Kaliakmanis step up, and then makes Alien. You look at that throw. He's not able to get his front foot down. Whenever a quarterback can't get his front foot down and can't step into the throw, what ends up happening is the ball will sail. It's probably much like a pitcher. Like you got to get your front foot down.
Yep.
Accuracy starts in the feet, right? You got to get your front foot down. Well, dude, if I got 300 pounds of Johnny Newton come at me, it's harder to get my front foot down. That's why it makes Paddock's throw that impressive. You'll see him get his front foot down, and he takes a shot on that Isaiah Williams throw to win it. So Johnny Newton was a wrecking ball. Guys, if you listen to PJ Fleck's post-conference, he mentions one player by name on Illinois. His number 4 was disruptive. It's just they said, what was the problem with the offense? He goes, number 4 was disruptive. 67 yards in the second half?
That's
when they went right through us? Guys, Johnny Newton is a first-round draft pick.
Yes.
Might be the best defensive lineman in the Big Ten. Probably the Big Ten. Might be the defensive player of the year in the Big Ten. He's on a better team. Very, very disruptive. It's not so much about stats on D-line. I tell this all the time. It's about disruption. Because offense is all about execution and timing. And Johnny Newton is an absolute wrecking ball to move like he does. So I give a lot of credit to him. I think Clayton Bush made some plays.
He did.
Called out by Brett Bielema. Had a 3rd and 1. Had the 2-point conversion. I believe Nicario Harper made a big play on the tight end on the third down where Minnesota decided to throw it rather than run it and run some clock. I don't know why you do with Ethan Kaliakmanis. If I got a dude at quarterback, but they don't really got any quarterback. But that being
Keith
said,
Randolph, pretty good game too. Legend tackles.
I give Keith a lot of credit because you could tell he was not 100%. Brett mentioned he wasn't 100% in there. It wasn't. I give him a lot of credit. I know he's cleared to play, but guys, once you get hurt, and here's the thing, a foot injury hurts a defensive lineman a ton more than you think it does. That's where all your power comes from, right? So that's where you drive off of. And so, man, it's incredible to see Keith the way he got it out. You know what? I just had somebody, I think it was 217 on the text line. Somebody said, about
the fried pickles?
Yes.
If they win the West, are you buying fried pickles for the house at
Done.
Long Branch?
Done.
And
We'll
I
get a
said
day.
I'll split the bill with you.
I will fried pickles for everybody if we win the West.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Jay and I will split that bill and have some fun.
And you know what? We're seeing if John Paddock can come by and dip some pickles in the frog sauce.
Hell, I'll open a little tab at the bar for a little
There
bit.
we go. John Paddock's of age. He's in the 6th year. So here we go.
Exactly.
Hey, guys, you got to come to Long Branch, get the fried pickle party. Come on, baby. Man, we got the text line blowing up over here. Awesome. This is crazy.
Isaiah Williams, 59 catches on the season, almost 700 yards, averaging about 12 a game. He's now gotten in the end zone now 3 times. That was kind of the one thing he was lacking. What would it mean if he came back to this team next season?
A lot.
I mean,
no, it would. I mean, here's the deal. You want to look at the arc of improvement of a guy when he moves to a position. The arc of improvement is pretty steep from when he started, 3 seasons ago, that 2020 season, I should say, 2 seasons ago, but was his first time as a receiver. He's gotten better and better and better. His mental toughness to come back after that fumble, to have 2 huge catches, his leadership. But here's the thing. I thought he was a late-round pick. I think he's now more of a mid-round pick for a team that needs a slot receiver to punt returner, right? I think he is. I'm not an NFL guy. Don't listen to me. Supposedly there's scouts walking around all the time in Illinois. I don't know. Okay, but I would say this. You get him to come back. You get Keith Randolph to come back. You get Tip Ryman to come back, right? Those are big plays. Guys, Tip Ryman, we don't know. We didn't get enough credit. First of all, you get down the field, that's a big boy.
He is big.
I mean, he's South Dakota's finest. I mean, thank goodness the Jackrabbits didn't get him in the line. I got him. He walked on. But my gosh, that dude's a big man. He can block, and he's got better hands. He's got 3 or 4 touchdowns this year.
Yeah.
We get Tip Ryman back. I don't know if he wants to play another year of college or not. I think he's an NFL tight end for somebody. Good special teams player. Guys, if we get some of those guys back, we got to fill some holes in the offensive line. We can build around Fagan and Altmaier. Those are 2 offensive pieces. I think Pat Bryant can be good. He's getting open, but he's got to make the plays when he has a chance to make the plays. So we've got some pieces. I think our DBs are going to be better. Xavier Scott's going to be a good player. I think Matthew Bailey's going to be a good player.
Yeah.
We've got to get our corners playing a better. Taz is playing good, but Taz, I don't think he has another year. He might. I don't know.
I'm not sure on him.
I'm going to check on Taz. He probably has another COVID.
We'll effort,
Kyle. Another 8th COVID year or whatever it is. But we got to get some corners. I like where our linebacker plays out with Odaluga, James Cruz. Tariq Barnes has been hurt. Dylan Rosiak. I think those guys are getting better and better. Can we get Seth Coleman to come back? I think Seth Coleman would be big. I think you move Gabe into defensive tackle. You bring a JUCO or a transfer portal guy in at defensive tackle along with Keith if you can get him back, and you're not losing that much on D then, right? So you are losing number 4, which we're not really good on defense without number 4 and not 100% Keith Randolph. So, somebody said you give Jay a quarter, just watch him roll. That's going on today. Let's go.
We're going to have to ask you about Indiana, obviously, coming up this weekend. When we come back, before we do that, let's hit the sponsors one more time.
Yeah, Iroquois Federal, your one-stop shop for all your lending needs, located in Savoy and Champaign. Guys, this is not a tape. This is me telling it live. That's pretty good right there. Hey, this is Kyle Lewis, Kyle at IPG Insurance. Kyle at IPG INS for all your insurance. He's my insurance guy, auto, home, life, habitational. Let's go. I think he might even sell health insurance, but you got to call Kyle or email Kyle at IPGINS.com. And, of course, Long Branch Steakhouse. Guys, fried pickles on the house. On me and Lon.
Yes.
Okay, if we win the Big Ten West, you got to have a party. We're going to have all our listeners come out. Spread the word. Fried pickles on the house. I love that we're doing fried pickles. I can't afford steak for everybody. But I love that we're doing fried pickles on the house, guys, because they are the best. Guys, come for the steak. Stay for the fried pickles. Let's go.
Oh, yeah.
There's only one Jay Lehman. We're glad he's with us.
Oh, my goodness.
We got him for another segment after this. If you want to weigh in, you can. 217-359-2255 on the U of I Illini League text line. This is The Drive.
Fighting Illini football is back in Memorial Stadium for Dad's Day and Military Appreciation Day, Saturday, November 11th, as they take on the Indiana Hoosiers. Get tickets for as low as $20 as we celebrate dads for this proud Illinois tradition. All active military personnel are eligible to receive free tickets. Be in your seat early for a special military flyover. Illinois football versus Indiana, Saturday, November 11th. Get tickets and more info at fightingillini.com.
The hammering, the sawing, the drilling, all the sounds of the workplace are music to our ears. You can be a part of construction projects large and small as a Carpenters Local 243 member. Learn to excel with apprentice and journeyman training. Members enjoy all the benefits this internationally recognized union has to offer. It's a life-changing decision. Join the Local 243 family tradition. Contact Carpenters Local 243 at 217-356-5463.
When you make the right decision, it feels good, like picking the perfect accent rug or choosing a good night's sleep over an all-night crime show binge. It feels really good to make the right insurance decision, too. That's why State Farm agent Kurt Lenschow is right here in Champaign-Urbana to help you select the right protection at the right price. Kurt will make sure you understand your State Farm coverages so you'll know what to expect if the unexpected happens. Just call him when you want the real deal. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Like every bank, there's a time every day when we stop making loans. But at Iroquois Federal, we never stop making a difference. Thanks to an amazing team of employees who give back to their local communities all over Central Illinois. From hospital boards and local school programs to Kiwanis and the United Way, Iroquois Federal employees donated more than 1,000 volunteer hours last year. And we'll do it again next year because the only thing we like more than making a loan is making a difference. Iroquois Federal, still friendly, still local, still here. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Mom, she won't stop touching me. Broccoli stinks.
Guys, no phones at the table.
Family dinner time? Not easy. But you know what is easy? OSF On-Call Urgent Care. When you need convenient, affordable care for minor illnesses and injuries, you need OSF On-Call Urgent Care. Be seen in person or connect 24/7 online when and where you need it. Learn more at osfoncall.org/urgentcare.
If you need a new business sign or signage for your golf outing, we can do it and help you get noticed. Hi, this is Kirk Lehman, owner of Aftershock Decals and Design, and we can produce any kind of signage you want with our graphic design team. You want a custom design? We are here for you, and we are easy to work with, I promise. So visit us at aftershockdd.com to get a quote and get noticed. That's aftershockdd.com. Get noticed.
Are you tired of getting the short end of the stick and always being stuck with cold water for your showers? Dogtown Heating, Air, and Plumbing is here to help. With current tax incentives and rebates, you can save up to $900 on a high-efficiency tankless water heater, unlimited hot water, and saving on your energy bills. It seems like the best gift you could give your home. With the current promotion of 0% financing for qualified applicants, you can't afford not to call. 217-841-4728. Dogtown Heating, Air, and Plumbing, your home's best friend.
Hi, it's Stevie J. So I took my mom into Audibel, owned by Jeff Hanley, who owns 13 locations around Central Illinois. She's had so much trouble hearing for so long. Audibel, AUDIBEL, for hearing. And some of the new technologies, they've got AI now for some of these hearing aids, and they're virtually invisible. It's unbelievable, and it helped my mom. It helped her incredibly. We've been to other places. This is by far the best place I've ever been in for hearing help. Go to audibelteam.com. That's AUDIBEL. If you want more information about Audibel and how Jeff Hanley and his amazing culture and amazing team that they have, go to audibelteam.com. That's AUDIBEL, audibelteam.com. You'll be so happy you found Audibel. Amazing work. They got a location in Champaign. Go to audibelteam.com. That's audibelteam.com.
You don't want to know is the answer, Lante.
You need to retire is the other answer, Lante.
No. I'm not feeding you that. No way. Nope.
Jay, we got a new
you under
system.
Contract.
There's little things that have been happening, Jay, for about the last year, including bringing on a major talent in Kyle. And now when he and Pipes do a show, it's smooth. It's just so smooth. And then we switch systems, so Lon doesn't know how to run it. Listen, as the old guy, I slowly am seeing the little, the writing on the wall. Correct.
You're getting put out to pasture.
That's exactly. I mean, they're just doing it in a nice, subtle way.
The pastures of Camargo you grew up in are now the ones that you are now occupying. You are living it up.
There's some hay out there, Lon, with some beer.
Put out to pasture. Sell a couple insurance policies for the Hiller Group and
just sit in your agency and do nothing.
Yeah, buddy.
This Yachty Molina with PitchCom.
That's it.
No.
That's it.
Take a trip down to Oxford to watch Ole Miss. Woo! Make a road trip to Muhammad every once in a while.
That was a fun trip to Oxford. That was
buddy.
fun.
SEC country.
That
hear more about
Grove,
that.
the Grove was just absolutely insane.
I've heard it's a good time.
It's crazy. Well, look, Andrew was 11 the last time we went down, so we didn't really get to kind of do a lot. But this year we were able to tailgate before and after in the Grove, and
it's a good conference, guys. It's
fun.
You still can't spell second without SEC.
Yep.
They're second best to the Big Ten, as we know.
I love it.
You know,
especially the West.
Let's go. Oh, yeah, the West is the most competitive. It's the most competitive division in all of football.
I agree.
But that means it's the best.
It's the grossest. Let's be honest.
But guys, every game you get your money's worth.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, there's no blowouts.
How can Illinois win the West?
Well, Illinois can win the West like this. You got to have Rutgers and Maryland beat Iowa and Nebraska because Iowa has a 2-game lead on you.
Yes.
Nebraska has a 1-game but a tiebreaker on you. Right? So you got to have them lose, and Illinois got to win out.
Yeah.
They've got to win out no matter what. But if Iowa loses one more game and then you beat Iowa head-to-head, you have and you win out. You have the tiebreaker,
Rutgers this
right?
week at Iowa City.
And we need Minnesota to beat Wisconsin.
Okay.
That's what it is. Minnesota beats Wisconsin, and Iowa and Nebraska lose one more game. Now, Iowa and Nebraska should play a game together. Minnesota has a game up on us, but they got to play the Ohio State. They ain't winning that game.
No.
They ain't winning that game. Let me just say that right now. They're about ready to get boat raced. All right, literally. Like I know there's what is it, Lake Minnetonka up there? Like they go get some boats on there, and let's go.
You better start rowing fast there.
Rowing fast. That's a great boat. Give me some little but chick. Yeah, we got a rowboat versus a cigar boat, right? Like You go to Miami, like that song, like "Welcome to Miami." I mean that boat that they're riding on there, like a James Bond boat race to rowing the boat. That's what this game is between Ohio State and Minnesota. It is like the most. We're talking about the most explosive offense in the country. One of them, and the most milquetoast offense. It's just like, come on, let's go.
Why does this hour ever have to end?
Oh man,
Jay, if I was just looking at it surface level, which admittedly I didn't watch any of Indiana, Wisconsin. If I sat there and said Indiana beats Wisconsin, Wisconsin beat Illinois, I should be worried about Indiana now?
Yeah, we play this game every year, right? Such and such beat this team, which means this team could beat that team, right?
Yep.
And it's true. Here's the deal. As much as cliche as this, anybody can beat anybody on any given week. It's improbable, right?
Just don't turn it over against Indiana. That's when they win, right?
According
to Jay Lehman on Big Ten Network.
Right. And he actually watches my stuff, right? I mean, anybody can beat anybody. I mean, it's not like they know your signs or anything. Like, anybody can beat anybody at any time, right? So, that means that one snuck in there. So anyway, let me get back to the point. Indiana beat us last year when we were a vastly better team. They fired Walt Bell, who, God bless Walt Bell. I've covered Walt Bell at Maryland, at UMass. Now it was the coordinator then at Indiana. Got fired during the bye week, October 5th. Rod Carey takes over. Rod Carey's giving them an offensive identity a little bit. Guys, they got some Donovan McCulley's a good receiver. They got Jalen Lucas, who's kind of like an Isaiah Williams guy.
They always have good receivers.
Brendan Sorsby's got the quarterback job. Guys, they had a pass play for 90 yards, 60 yards, and 30 yards against a Penn State defense that up in that time they gave up one play over 40 yards.
Wow.
They were in a one-score game with Penn State in Happy Valley, okay? So they're vastly improved. I would say this. We have a big advantage in the trenches if we're healthy and Johnny's playing, and we can run the football much better than him. Usually if you can run the ball better and stop the run better, you're going to win the game. But that doesn't guarantee we're going to win.
Right.
We got to take care of business. Haven't won 2 games in a row all year.
Yeah, that's what Tim and Benton just said. October 29th, 2022, last back-to-back wins for Illini football. He's hoping for the best, but expecting possibly the worst.
So we can lose this game.
Yeah.
I mean, we can lose any game. We can win any game, and we can lose any game. I thought the way we played the last 3 weeks is how the whole season would be. Even against Kansas.
They have played
even
well.
against Penn State. I thought you could go either way. That's why I said this team could win 5 games, which it looks like they're at least going to do that, we hope. Or they could have won 10 games. Now, they played like trash the first six weeks. They weren't a good football team. That Nebraska game was the worst Illinois football I've seen in a very long time, but they learned from it. They didn't stay on the mat. I said if they play like they play against Nebraska, they ain't going to beat anybody. That's the truth, but they've gotten better. They got a quarterback they can build around. In college football, if you got a quarterback, you got a chance.
Amen.
If you don't have a quarterback, you don't have a chance. Unless you're Iowa, then you always have a chance with defensive special teams, right? Because I don't know. I mean, Deacon Hill got offered by Wisconsin, then transferred to Iowa. I don't know what people look at if it's just I got a cannon of an arm and I'm 6'5", 260. But come on, man. I don't understand sometimes. John Paddock could be starting other teams right now. He may be. I mean, I'm glad he transferred here, but the way the West looks, he could be starting other spots.
Maybe one more note on that. It's going to be hard for Illini fans. If any signs of slow offense, bad possessions, Luke makes a mistake, people are going to want to see John Paddock again. What do you make of that? And also just Luke coming off of whatever he's dealing with.
So first off, if Luke's not healthy, Paddock's going to play. I think you got to feel good about what Paddock can do, right?
Yep.
I don't think Luke has played bad enough to lose his job.
I
In fact,
agree.
he's played pretty well the last 4 or 5, and you're building around him. So, dude, John Paddock, if he never takes another snap, he's going to be a Illini legend for what he did. Okay?
Right.
I mean, what he did in that game against then the Big Ten West leader, Minnesota, is legendary. Now, I do think that if Luke has one of these games like Penn State where he struggles, maybe has two picks in the first half, there's a quicker trigger to pull him and say, let's get him out. Let's let him watch for a couple series. We know that John can do this and the team believes in John. Because I think right now this is mission critical to win these last 3 games.
Huge.
These last 5 games, counting Wisconsin and Minnesota, and then the next 3, are teams we recruit against on a daily basis all the time. We've got to win these matchups because they're going after the same players, mostly in Illinois, from the suburbs. How many suburb guys are on that team for Minnesota? The Newbin brothers, those are St.
leading
Charles.
rusher, the
leading tackler,
the
quarterback, Ethan Kelly Mans from Antioch up north. I mean, they had John Michael Smith from Chicago start there for 8 COVID years, right? I mean, like they've raided Illinois. Chicago. I mean, Iowa's raided ever since Chuck Long out of Wheaton North. We talked about him. I was always rated here. I mean, Chicago's rated by a lot of different schools. Ohio State comes and gets 2 or 3 guys from Chicago all the time. We're trying to get our fair share. And the best way to get our fair share is to win games against our competition. Say we're going somewhere.
Good call.
Great stuff.
Sponsors one more time.
Woo! Iroquois Federal, your one-stop shop for all your linen needs. Bob Guido's man, and Ryan Lowry, and Brenda Crane, and Mark McHale. It's a lot of different locations. There's one in Danville. There's one in Watseka. They're home base, but here's the deal. You want to go to the Savoy and Champaign ones because that's where Bob Guido and Ryan Lowry are at. You got to hit them up for all your commercial lending needs and your home loan needs, commercial lines of credit. Kyle Lewis, IPG Insurance, Auto, Home, Life, Habitational, does all my rental properties. Love Kyle Lewis. Kyle at IPGINS.com. And, of course, Long Branch Steakhouse and beautiful downtown eclectic Gifford. They're open Wednesday through Saturday, 5 to 9 p.m. If we do a fried pickle night, we'll have to do it on one of those nights, or we might just close down the bar and on Tuesday or Sunday have everybody come in. If we win the West, fried pickles on us, beer on lawn. Let's go.
Let's make a date.
Yeah,
I'm in if we win the West,
Let's
baby.
do this again on Monday. Jay, this was awesome. Hopefully we'll have another win to talk about on Monday and a few more down the stretch. But thanks as always, man.
Yeah, buddy.
Good job, Jay.
Jay Lehman. Before we catch a break, I do got to tell you, number 1, Luke Altmaier coming up next on the Tapman's Towing phone line. Number 2, you're listening to ESPN Radio 93.5, WSJK, Tuscola, Champaign, Urbana. Your home for
the St. Louis Cardinals
and the Jay Lehman Hour, which is awesome. This is The Drive.
Crossroads Contractor Supply specializes in the delivery of tools and supplies within a 150-mile radius of Champaign-Urbana. Reliable, timely, and with reasonable prices, Crossroads Contractor Supply knows what equipment and tools are needed for your job. Their slogan, we have it when you need it. Get the job done right with proper tools and equipment. Did something break? Construction materials as well as safety equipment, all available. Call 402-8123. Visit CrossroadsContractorSupplyIL.com.
Hey, it's Stevie J. I have a Stever offer for you. The Stever is where Stevie J gives you money and you spend it and keep the stuff. You have to use it within 7 days, and then tell me what you thought about the business when you're done. Today, from the Long Branch Restaurant, Long Branch up in Gifford, Illinois, Donnie and Hunter and Taylor and the team, they provide steaks and some other great food as well. So here's the deal. I'll give you $50 if you want to go up there and eat. $50 from the Long Branch. Go to GoStever.com. If you don't have a free account, sign up. Click accept when you see the offer, and you might just get yourself $50 to go to the Long Branch Restaurant. They're up in Gifford, Illinois, beautiful Gifford. And again, it's our Stever offer of the day. Go Stever.com, click accept. You have to use this within 7 days, so check your calendar. Long Branch is open Wednesday through Saturday. All right? $50 Long Branch, go Stever.com, go Stever.com.
Since Busey Bank first opened our doors in 1868, we have built upon a tradition of close relationships and broad financial capabilities. Our experienced team provides the highest level of personalized service to ensure we accomplish your goals, simplifying your wealth management and business lending needs, and ensuring a legacy for generations. Building business, growing wealth. Since 1868, proud to be the official bank of the Fighting Illini. Member FDIC.
It's Isaiah Williams motioning out of the backfield. Pump to him. Over the middle. Altmaier on the money for a touchdown. Tip Ryman with the opening score for the Illini. For the Illini, they're perfect on third down. Altmaier back to the end zone and threads it in for 6 more. Isaiah Williams on the receiving end. After Joyner forced the turnover, it's third down. Passing set, Kaliak Manis can't get away from Newton. Johnny Newton has arrived in this game for the Illini.
And he's letting everybody know it too.
Fegan used in the pass game, swinging it out, and he cuts off of that block. The big man rumbling down the sideline, not just a power back. Fegan with a touchdown. The backup quarterback, Paddock, in the game for the Illini, trying to keep it alive. Unloads, connects with Williams. A bullseye. And Paddock deep down the field. Paddock throws it in there. John Paddock, a hero for the Illini.
To guess who? We need a big play. Who do we go to? Right down the middle. What a great throw.
Potential season-defining play for Minnesota. Kaliak Manis, incomplete. And Illinois is going to get out of Minneapolis again with Brett Bielema winning this game against the Gophers.
This is how legends are made.
It is The Drive with Sam Piper, ESPN Radio 93.5. Derek Piper, Lante Kaltosk. Fantastic stuff as always from Jay Lehman, but he was on a different level for today's show.
Oh, my goodness.
I think everybody was here for it. So shout out to Jay for bringing the energy and the knowledge as always. And that was a ton of fun. It's always fun talking about an Illini win, especially one of those in just dramatic fashion and such a huge tide-turning win, I feel like, as you go down the stretch here. So that was a lot of fun catching up with Jay Lehman. As always, also on Mondays, we talked to Jay in the first hour, and then we're pleased to be joined at the start of the 4 o'clock hour by Luke Altmaier on the Tapman's Towing phone line. This segment brought to you by Max Twin City Recycling, Dogtown Heating, Air, and Plumbing, your home's best friend, First Federal Savings Bank, local and trusted, Crossroads Contractor Supply, the right tools when you need it. Brian Hansen at State Farm Insurance. Visit brianismyguy.com. And by Carpenters Local 243. Luke Altmaier, has that feeling wore off yet, or are you still buzzing after Saturday?
Yeah, I think we're all still buzzing, but moving on to Indiana, but definitely enjoying last Saturday for sure.
When Bielema comes charging into the locker room, I forget whose Snapchat that was on, then it went all over Twitter. Like, how is that that just energy in the locker room, and what's that moment like? That's got to be one you're going to remember for a long time.
Yeah, it was such a cool moment for everybody in there, not just players and coaches, but just I know for the whole support staff included. It was a special moment for our team and our program, and a lot of hard work put in for that week and the whole season just to come out with a win. But, yeah, just a whole lot of juice, a whole lot of emotion flowing, and it's just good to feel good, you know what I mean?
Luke Altmyer, Illinois quarterback. Now, I won't ask you if you're playing Saturday. I'm sure there's still some stuff you have to do. But how you feeling, man? Just Illini fans in general just want to know how you're doing after that hit.
Yeah, shaking up a little bit. Kind of got stunned there, on that play. And but, getting better every single day. And, we'll see how Saturday shakes out. We'll see how that comes unfold. But, feeling good, feeling better every single day, and I know if I can't go or I can go, wherever it may be, we're going to be in good position to go get another win.
Yeah, I mean, you're probably on the sideline with Jeremy Bush, kind of checking you out, and the next thing you know, you're probably hearing some crazy things going out on that field. And, of course, kudos to John Paddock for coming in, making a huge fourth down throw, and then he hits Pat Bryant, he hits Casey Washington. They had taken a timeout, and then, of course, he hits Isaiah for the touchdown. How much were you able to watch that, and did that surprise you at all coming from John Paddock?
Yeah, so I came off the field a little bit a little stunned, obviously, but and I wasn't able. I went into the tent, so I wasn't able to see how things unfolded. But I was definitely. I kind of could see out the tent and just see the sideline and kind of just watch the game through their reaction, sort of. And it looked like we were doing good just based off their reaction. And then once it hit the big playhead, I knew something was just miraculous would happen. And just really, really happy for JP, John, and. Just the way he's prepared all year. We both came in at the same time, really. We're on the same timetables here at Illinois. And he has a great lineage and a great history, family history here at Illinois. So I know that's a moment that, a lot of us on the team will remember for a long time, but especially him. And just super stoked for him to have that moment and for him to put us in position there to get a win.
Luke, one more on John. Just you've been in the quarterback room with him, like you said, really coming in at the same time and obviously through the season. What's kind of been your feel on just the way he's approached things in the case that he was needed to be called upon it in case you were to get hurt, and just the fact to be thrown in the fire like that, that's got to be really tough. I mean, you've known being in a situation where you're not the starting quarterback, so what that were to look like going into a game week and leading up to like that. So how tough, in your estimation, is it to do what he did, and just kind of what have you gauged from him being around him in terms of how he stayed ready?
Yeah, I think one thing about John that's unique to our room is, he's been around the game. He's been around football for a long time. He's been a starter and at a high level, and every single day he prepares as he's going to go win a Super Bowl. And he brings that to our room, not just to me and helping me out with different things, but to our younger guys as well. And I think it's very difficult being one play away. You kind of watch every single play, just wondering if the next one's going to be yours. So I know he was ready for that moment, as well as everybody on our sideline. Just watching the way he competes every single day, the way he shows up, and the way he works. No surprise there. And I think all his hard work, he's worked so hard, is paid off in that moment.
Luke Altmyer is our guest in the Tapman's Towing phone line. Early on, Luke, you guys really got in a rhythm offensively. I mentioned it in the first hour. Just had a nice balance of running pass, using play action. Just seemed like you guys were really in a nice groove there, putting up 14 points there in that first quarter. Like, what did you see out of that? What was key in getting in that mode, and how did things play out in terms of kind of what you scripted going into that game?
Yeah, I think it just started off with a great game plan by our fearless leader, Coach Lunny, and the positions he was able to put us in, and the way he called the game was, in that first quarter, especially, just gave me confidence to execute our plan and to know our plan and to be able to go, bring it to life in that first quarter and throughout the game. And obviously, we kind of stalled out there third, fourth quarter a little bit, but we had a lot of juice and a lot of momentum going that first half. And, it started off, I think it started Sunday after our bye week, and the way we were prepared early on for these guys. And we were able to go execute, kind of get on a roll there and kind of get some confidence there. And, and thanks to our special teams unit, first play of the game, they put us, basically on the 20-yard line, which is, more than you could ever ask for. And so had a lot of good people put us in great positions, and it was just up to us to go execute it. And, I think we did, there for a little bit, but there was still so much, out there that we think was a lot of points out there that we think that we left out there. And, looking forward to, cleaning that stuff up. But, we're at the point of the year where, things really should start looking like that first quarter a lot more often.
Luke Altmaier, our guest, Tapman's Towing phone line. Luke, it's one of those deals where you've got obviously some good guys to throw to. I mean, your tight ends are solid. You've got decent receivers as well, but you've got somebody special over there in Isaiah Williams. And what is it about him? And I know that he's just been one of these leaders of this team anyway. And, of course, you're newer to the team this season. I'm sure when you came in, you probably noticed that right away. But he's got just so much talent. And, of course, it's easy to talk about that after a 13-catch game. He leads the Big Ten in receptions. Obviously, you two have a nice little connection going. But what makes him so special? Is it his ability to just get open all the time? What is it about Isaiah that makes him really good?
Yeah, I think it just starts off with, the way he works, the way he prepares, and just the presence that he brings to our whole, facility every single day, whenever he speaks, and, everybody kind of stops and listens. And, I think that says a lot, first off. But
sure,
obviously he has so many gifted abilities that you can't coach. Just incredible speed, incredible quickness, and ability to, run great routes, great catch radius, great hands. And I think he has a great mind for the game as well. He's been, in my position playing quarterback, and so he knows not only his position of receiver, but mine too, but also what defenses are trying to do to stop him. I think each and every week, the team we play, kind of circles him and, tries to think of ways how they can defend him. But he's shown that, no matter what people throw at him, he's able to, find windows to get open, or, just getting the ball in his hands simply, he's very difficult to stop.
The other young man that we're kind of all watching progress, and you're right down there next to him, is Caden Fagan, and what he's been able to do. And obviously that sweet pass you had to him, 2 great blocks on the outside, and then he just runs away at his size, which is ridiculously amazing. But what has he brought in terms of stability, and what's it like as the quarterback to just kind of watch a really young man just start growing up in front of your eyes?
Yeah, I think just first off, I'm just excited for him. I'm happy for him to see him have some success. I think 2 weeks that he's been freshman player of the week, and I don't know, in the Big Ten, and I think in another poll as well. And just so excited for him. Watching him come in and work hard and kind of learn the ropes, and seeing kind of the fruits of that kind of pay off right now is really, really cool to see. And obviously I think everybody knows how much of a force he is back there, being at his size, 230 plus, 40 pounds, whatever he is, he's dangerous. I mean, whatever. I mean, that's all you can really say about him. He gets the ball and nobody really wants to tackle him. He's really one of the biggest players on the field. And, you can coach a lot of things. You can coach scheme. You can, be in the right spot, but at the end of the day, you got to get somebody down to make the final play, and he's definitely hard to do that. And he showcased his speed too.
Yes,
on that one play, which is just another thing that makes him, a great player, and he's going to be going to make a lot of more plays for us too down the line.
A few more minutes with Luke Altmaier on the Tapman's Towing phone line. Luke, halftime you go in, it's 17-14, maybe a little higher scoring than some maybe would have thought. The Gophers have a 3-point lead, but you guys got to unleash quite a weapon in the second half, and Johnny Newton. Did you guys get a sense that you knew that whenever he was going to get a chance to get on the field there in the second half, that he was going to be a wrecking ball and have an ability to really put his stamp on that game? And just from your vantage point, what's it like watching what he's doing this season?
Yeah, it's no secret, how he affects the game and how he just changes the game. The first series that he was out there, first couple of plays, he makes an incredible sack to really stop those guys from moving the chains. And it's just no surprise. Even to people outside of our facility, I think what makes him so special is also just the way he works. He's one of the first people in the building every single day, and stays after during our lifts, and always getting extra individual work, and that's just something I see from afar. So I know he's putting in so many hours to just perfect his game. I know he loves the game. He loves being around it. He's a student that I can tell, and I know he was just itching to get out there. You could really see it in his eyes during that first half, and I know he puts a lot of fear in the opposing quarterback and the opposing offense, and I know he did for me during fall camp and spring and stuff like that. So I got to witness firsthand of just really how good he is every single day. But I think he's just getting better and better, and that's just from me, looking from the outside in.
Luke, you mentioned last week that you guys went into the season with some high expectations, and obviously you weren't expecting to be sitting here at 5-4, but with 3 games left, you do have control in terms of you guys go on a run here. There's a situation where you beat Iowa, obviously you just beat Minnesota, who was at the top of the West, that there's a path still, realistically, if you were to win out, that you could go to the Big Ten championship game still. Do you think about that at all? Do you guys use that as motivation? Because you said it yourself that, hey, this is probably something you guys had in your mind going into this year. I know it's one game at a time. I know that's how it goes in terms of preparation, but can that be used as a motivating factor at all for you guys?
Yeah, I think everybody individually is motivated in different ways, and a lot of people in our building will look to that and use that as motivation and things like that. And I think that's super cool that we can still do it. But like you said, we had that expectation going into the year, and it obviously hadn't panned out the way we have wanted to in different ways. But to know that's still into play is definitely kind of icing on the cake of our just our foundation of our motivation, which is just trying to win each and every single day in its own. So we'll see how the cards play, how things play out, and ultimately just trying to not look too far ahead, because we do that. We won't take advantage of everything we can do to win against Indiana. You know what I mean?
Well, the issue here, Luke, is if you guys do win the West, then Jay Lehman and I are splitting fried pickles on the house over at the Long Branch in Gifford, and I think I've got the first beer for everybody. So you're going to be costing me some cash, but I'll gladly spend it, Luke Altmaier, if that is the case, for all of our listeners to come out and enjoy. And if you win the West, hell, we'll get Luke there just to say hi to everybody, and we'll just have some fun doing it. What the heck?
Just to say hi, he's going to get 2 rounds of fried pickles on you, man.
Right. Yeah, he comes walking back with a tray. I'm like, easy there, Luke. Gosh dang it.
I'll tear it up.
Right, yeah, what the heck? Hey, last question for me. Indiana, now a team that, I know you weren't here last year necessarily, but we got a little payback in store for the Hoosiers, I hope, because that was certainly one of those games last season you kept looking back on and going, oh, what if we would have done this against Indiana? But, the Hoosiers coming off an emotional big win for Tom Allen there against Wisconsin. What do you think of this Hoosiers team? I know you probably haven't had a lot of time to dive into them, but what do you know about them as you lead up to Indiana week?
Yeah, it's still early in the week, and a little idea what we're going to do, really early. I think, like you said, it's kind of like a payback deal where, it's a rematch of a game that, this team last year really wanted to win, and it could have really affected their year. It just adds to the motivation, just out there and get another win, against the team that had a big win, and a team that beat us, in the last play, essentially.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a Big Ten game. It's going to be a 4-quarter game. I think we're very confident in where we are and, our momentum too. I think if we just do what we're capable of, I don't care who we line up against, we're gonna give it, our best, and we believe that we can, compete with the best of them.
Love it.
It's also a chance to beat Luke Goody's home state school.
Oh, I never thought of that.
Got to do that.
Ooh.
That's right. Yeah.
Some more bragging rights over Goody. Better shooter. No, Goody says he's the best shooter, right? So Altmaier's got to get back at him on that. Well, listen, continued health this week, my friend. I hope that I know we all talk about football and it's important to us, no doubt, but I'm hoping everything goes well with you, and I'm hoping you're behind center come Saturday, my friend.
I appreciate it. It means a lot. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Luke. As always, we'll talk to you next Monday.
All right, thank you.
All right, buddy.
Luke Altmaier joining us thanks to Max Twin City Recycling. Can't speed up too fast. Got to slow down. False start. Dogtown Heating, Air, and Plumbing, your home's best friend. First Federal Savings Bank. Local and trusted. Crossroads Contractor Supply. The right tools when you need it. Brian Hansen at State Farm Insurance. Visit brianismyguy.com and by Carpenters Local 243.
I'm trying to think. The St. Louis Cardinal football team. Back in the day. I know what it was. In fact, it could have been he may have still been on the team when they played in Phoenix. There was a guy named Louis Sharp. He was actually a pretty good tackle or guard, whatever he played. But when you just said that, you went too fast and it was a false start. He's the first guy I thought of. And it would just always be just automatic every game, like, O.J. Anderson or whoever the hell the running back was would bust one for 12, and it's a first down for the Cardinals. There's a flag. Then it'd be like holding number 74 on the offense, and you're like, dang it! Have the Bears, have they had like the one guy, like Sharp was actually a pretty good offensive lineman, but it always seemed like he was good for one or two holds to ruin a first down every game. Did you guys ever have someone like that on the Bears?
I'm sure we've had plenty of them.
Anybody that comes to mind?
I want to say, was his name Jamarcus Webb? I feel like he's a left tackle.
I think I do remember
he was
that
a guy that was pretty poor. We've probably had a lot over the years.
On the offense. I would be watching the rare game of the Cardinals against the Cowboys. Like that was the only time we would play. And we'd be sitting there and there'd be, there's a flag down. And before anything was I'd be like, holding 74 on the offense. 15-yard or 10-yard penalty, repeat first down. And then, boom, sure enough, holding 74 on the offense. I'm like, dang it, Sharp.
217, Charles Leno, that's a good one. Ryan on the defensive side, Chris Conte.
Oh, boy.
He stunk.
Yeah.
Not a Chris Conte
Randy
fan.
wants us to keep the Luke Goody feud going.
I tried to throw a little
You did.
little bone out there.
You did. I like
obviously,
that.
Obviously, Goody wants Illinois to win this game, so
Oh,
it wouldn't be
there's
like
no
bragging
doubt.
rights over Luke, but Luke Goody does have a lot of Indiana alums within his family, including Trent Green.
Isn't that amazing? Trent Green, who was the Rams quarterback when Dick Vermeil thought that they could win a Super Bowl. And in, I think, the third exhibition, we all know the story, he gets taken out by Rodney Harrison from Western Illinois. Not obviously at Western at that point, but he had played at Western and is done for the year. And Dick Vermeil cried. I mean, Dick Vermeil was a very emotional coach anyway. And so up steps a kid named Kurt Warner. And you know the rest of the story, as Paul Harvey would say. And now you know the rest of the story. I can't do Paul. Come on. That was horrible.
On the note of football, before we catch a break, is apparently there's a basketball game tonight. I guess we're going to talk about that.
And apparently the Cubs fired their manager and have a new one or something.
Kyle's going to go on a 5-minute celebration. We'll let him have that. But football-wise,
you got to be somewhere tonight.
Yeah, I guess.
It was funny.
Text
We sat
my wife,
down.
let her know I won't be home.
We sat down at the commercial, and I'm like, as we were waiting for Luke to call, I'm like, well, what we could do is just talk Illinois basketball. They got a game tonight against Eastern, and Derek goes, they do? I was like, you smart, Alec.
Yeah, my fault.
I've got 2 kids, all right? I don't need a third.
Do you?
Actually, Kyle's down there, and Hans. I really have like 4 kids, Derek, so I need you to you be on my side. Yeah. But that was kind of
be
funny.
mature about it.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. My fault. I don't know how to be mature about the Arizona Cardinals' 70-some yards of offense.
Oh, my Lord.
Tyson Bagent's 4 turnovers on his own. And,
I mean, we can tank as well as anybody.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are good at it.
Oh, my goodness.
They're starting Kyler, though, this week.
I know.
Are you a little nervous?
They announced that?
Oh, I am nervous that we'll somehow win 3 games and end up with the 5th pick. And then the Texans, who just can't lose now all of a sudden.
C.J. Stroud.
He's unbelievable. He's Rookie of the Year, right? Or is there somebody else I'm
Runaway
forgetting?
Rookie of the Year.
Runaway. So all of a
Scott, that's
sudden,
mean.
here I thought, what'd he say? Oh, wow. Well, you know what, though? The 2 prime games they've played, woo.
3.
I'm sorry.
I mean,
he said. Oh, by the way, he
agree.
said the Dolphins are not a Super Bowl contender. Yeah,
they're not until they actually go beat a team that is going to be in the playoffs.
Agree. Yeah, but I don't know. Cardinals went from thought we were going to have the first and second pick in the draft. Now we're going to have like the 5th and 30th. The Texans will be in the Super Bowl for some reason. I'll be like, oh, what a nifty little neat story.
You guys think you're good at being bad? So are we.
Yes,
and
you
who's
are.
even better at it?
Carolina.
The Carolina Panthers.
We're still holding on to that. Hey, can I ask you this, and then we take a break, and we can talk, obviously, Illinois basketball, but could you make an argument for Marvin Harrison Jr. being the number 1 pick? Look what the receiver does now. And I get it. I mean, this is a quarterback league. I totally get that. But if you're you look what
Does
Jamar
it have anything
Chase
to do with Caleb Williams being cradled by his mom while he balls crying?
Bless his heart.
I know that was a low blow, but
that was
it is something that people are talking about.
That was wow.
Yeah.
I mean, that tells me right there that there's a lot of pressure on that.
Yeah, no, I mean, and his defense has been terrible.
It has been terrible. But I'm telling you, Marvin Harrison Jr., you look at what Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson and Tyreek Hill,
Brown's doing for
A.J.
Philly.
Brown. I mean, what these receivers are doing, obviously you got to have the quarterback to throw to them. So, and it all depends on who's got the first pick, et cetera, et cetera. But if you're the Bears and you somehow end up with the top 2 picks and you can take – I tell you what, though, every mock draft I have seen since that day –
Don't.
I swear to God, they have you taking May. PFF did one today
honestly
that
haven't
had you
even
taking
watched-
May.
I haven't even watched a Drake May game this year, so I should probably study up.
May had this, or I'm sorry, PFF said, new mock draft has the Giants trading up to take Caleb Williams 1, and they trade with the Cardinals. I'm like, are you going to say anything about, like, what are you giving us to push us down to, like, 4 to take the dude out of Penn State, the left tackle? I don't think so. He's good, and I would take him or Joe Alt, but we're not taking him over Marvin Harrison Jr. I mean, we're not trading far enough down to lose that. I don't know.
Has a wide receiver probably never gone number 1? I would assume not.
That is a really good question. See, I would assume yes.
You would think so?
I would think. I bet a wide receiver's gone first.
Think so?
Keyshawn Johnson, 96.
Okay.
But there probably aren't many. Watch Kyle.
I guess I shouldn't
Kyle
have
will
said
be
never.
Like,
Yeah, he'll list
wide
off
receiver
like
has
10.
gone first 48% of the time of the NFL draft. You're like, whatever, Kyle. Shut up down there. Keyshawn Johnson, he had a pretty good career.
He's pretty good.
Marvin Harrison Jr. is
he's unbelievable.
You still got to take Williams or
I want Marvin Harrison Jr.
Oh, if you guys were able to take Williams,
it'd be a broken
and
record.
Harrison, can you imagine that 1-2 duo on the Bears?
Yeah.
Wow.
I can. I still want Fields, but
yeah,
I'm in the minority, I think.
Well, you trade that first pick to the Giants for a haul. They take Williams. You pick 2, get Harrison Jr.
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got 2 more first-rounders or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
And you guys just keep, like, you could go through this for, one more year. So 3 straight years where you, like, trade out. I just had the Trevor Valise old man belch. Like, I did that one day, and Trevor goes, why do old people do that? I'm like, what? He goes, you guys just belch out of nowhere. I'm like, I don't know. But, yeah, that's what you need to do. You need, like, 2 more drafts where you just accrue all these first-round picks, and in about 5 years, you guys will be the team to beat in the NFL.
I can wait that long.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're young. You got time.
Yeah, mostly,
Be another Piper by then.
Yes.
Maybe 2.
There'll definitely be 1 more.
No twins coming this time?
I hope not.
I've always said, I said that one time, and somebody's like, well, why would you say that?
That
and I'm like,
would be a surprise.
I got nothing. That'd be great if I had twins, but I don't want twins, all right? I've always said the good Lord gives you what you can handle. He gave me 2 boys 7 years apart. Now, do you think he was up there? That was his way of saying, you are not fit to be a parent, but since you want to do this, here's what I'm going to do for you. I'm going to give you a very respectful, mature young man in Lucas Tay, and then 7 years later, I'm going to give you another one in Andrew Tay, who's a bit ornery. And I'm going to be like, okay, I can handle that.
And you have.
Andrew had a good time at Ole Miss.
I wish I could have seen it. I hope he does go there because I'm definitely coming down to visit.
Oh, it is road trip. I told him, I said, I'm probably going to buy you a house that I can stay in the majority of the time. And he's like, no, that's not going to happen.
Let him stay a semester in a dorm room.
Exactly.
He'll have a different tune to
Dad,
you on that.
If you want to buy that house.
Yeah,
man, go ahead.
yeah.
I love it.
If you want to weigh in, you can. 217-359-2255 on the U of I Illini Link text line. Let's talk some number 25 Illinois versus Eastern Illinois in the college basketball season opener tonight.
That's awesome.
Sounds good, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
We'll talk more about that next. This is The Drive.
Get the roof your home deserves by Roof Doctors, your residential roofing specialist that has always offered the best warranties in the industry, like our non-prorated 50-year warranty. Our customers love that we are family-owned and locally operated. We make our customer needs our top priority. With over 30 years experience and the best customer service, give Roof Doctors a call today for your free estimate at 328-7529. In your community and for your community, Roof Doctors.
Kelsey Furniture in downtown Tuscola sells Tempur-Pedic beds. What's it like?
I'm going to tell you right now, Stevie, that thing is the best thing I've ever slept on in my life. My wife and I both have said we've never had better night's sleep. And the people at Kelsey's were fantastic. Brian is the guy that helped us. As much as I did my research, he has a world of knowledge about beds themselves. Oh, man, it's like sleeping on a cloud, man.
Kelsey Furniture, downtown Tuscola.
If you need a new business sign or signage for your golf outing, we can do it and help you get noticed. Hi, this is Kirk Lehman, owner of Aftershock Decals and Design, and we can produce any kind of signage you want with our graphic design team. You want a custom design? We are here for you, and we are easy to work with, I promise. So visit us at AftershockDD.com to get a quote and get noticed. That's AftershockDD.com. Get noticed.
Here's what somebody recently said at Pards in Urbana. I was there just a few minutes, and somebody came up and asked if I needed help. And they were incredible, helped me find the size of boot I needed, and then I bought a second pair too. Everything was friendly, everything was excellent. Visit Pards in Urbana, 206 North Maple, between Maine and University in Urbana. It's Pards Western Shop since 1968. Or go online and visit pards.com, pards.com. Hey, it's Stevie J. I have a Stever offer for you. The Stever is where Stevie J gives you money and you spend it and keep the stuff. You have to use it within 7 days, and tell me what you thought about the business when you're done. Today, from the Long Branch Restaurant, Long Branch up in Gifford, Illinois, Donnie and Hunter and Taylor and the team, they provide steaks and some other great food as well. So here's the deal. I'll give you $50 if you want to go up there and eat. $50 from the Long Branch. Go to GoStever.com. If you don't have a free account, sign up. Click accept when you see the offer, and you might just get yourself $50 to go to the Long Branch Restaurant. They're up in Gifford, Illinois, beautiful Gifford. And again, it's our Stever offer of the day. GoStever.com. Click accept. You have to use this within 7 days, so check your calendar. Long Branch is open Wednesday through Saturday. All right? $50 Long Branch. GoStever.com. GoStever.com.
You have money laying all around your house. You just don't know it. And no, I don't mean selling your great-grandma's good china. I mean all the old metal items you don't want to use or get rid of. Don't pay someone to haul it away. Bring it into Max Twin City Recycling and get paid to have it taken off your hands. They love new customers and are more than willing to walk you through their process step by step. Come check them out at 2808 North Lincoln Avenue in Urbana.
Starting it over is what we do at Max Twin City Recycling.
Fighting Illini football is back in Memorial Stadium for Dad's Day and Military Appreciation Day, Saturday, November 11th, as they take on the Indiana Hoosiers. Get tickets for as low as $20 as we celebrate dads for this proud Illinois tradition. All active military personnel are eligible to receive free tickets. Be in your seat early for a special military flyover. Illinois football versus Indiana, Saturday, November 11th. Get tickets and more info at fightingillini.com.
He is 1609 West Springfield Avenue in Champaign. Join us for the live broadcast after 3 p.m. on Friday, November 10th. Great guests ahead of Dad's Day, including Jay Lehman, McLean Stahl, and Hans D. with Who You Got. Eric Meyer has great drink specials from Coors and Miller Lite, Twisted Tea, Captain Morgan, and Bullet Rye and Bourbon. Terrific pub food like the Slugger Burger, chicken fingers, loaded nachos, and fish on Fridays. Diane Ducey will be handing out tickets to the Illinois vs. Indiana game Saturday the 11th at 2:30 with the flyover as a salute to our veterans. Pia's will have a fan bus leaving a half hour before tip-off as you head to the State Farm Center and enjoy watching the Illini men's basketball team play and then get dropped off and picked up in the front circle drive off First Street. Pia Sports Bar always saying, go Illini. Win tickets to the Tuesday, November 14th, 7 p.m. game against Marquette. Pia's 1609 West Springfield Avenue in Champaign.
Back on the drive with Sandpiper, ESPN Radio 93.5. To a 217, no, we weren't talking fantasy football. I'm talking about the NFL draft itself.
Yes.
Bears fan here, Arizona Cardinals fan over there. We are in a tank-off.
We suck.
Yep. And America, you're welcome for Thursday night football. Chicago Bears versus Carolina Panthers. Coming up on Amazon Prime.
Nothing like a primetime Bears-Panthers game.
Let's see if that link of yours gets you Amazon Prime Bears-Panthers. Let's see.
I'll probably even skip that. I'll give the link up.
Yeah.
Just to not watch Bryce Young versus Bajan.
Well, hopefully, yeah, Tyson Bajan.
When is Fields? What happened to Fields? We got to talk basketball, but
messed up his thumb.
Oh, thumb. Okay, I couldn't
dislocated thumb. He may or may not play Thursday. We'll see.
Okay. Didn't he just run anyway?
It's too bad a team. They got to make sure that they lose this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't matter either way, does it now?
Well, they want to lose because I think it would be more beneficial if the Panthers got the number 1 pick for them.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, because they're closer to the Cardinals right now for that one.
So we
pick.
should want the Panthers to lose. So we should try to win.
That's right. Bears should win this week.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh, man, you screwed up.
We
my
win
whole
both
thought
ways.
process.
We lose both ways.
Yep.
Oh, my gosh.
No, I think you
What is
want
happening?
Carolina to lose.
Yeah, no, you want because they have
you have
one
2
win.
wins.
Yeah,
Throw
you're
Justin
right. You're
Fields
right.
at him. Let's get Matt
You're
Forte out of retirement.
Come on, Panthers. Come on, Carolina.
Here we go. Speaking of Panthers.
That would put us a game in hand, I think, because we have the tougher strength of schedule.
Speaking of Panthers and bad teams.
Yes.
Sorry to EIU, but Eastern Illinois comes to town against the number 25 Illini tonight. Illinois, last I checked, it was like a 28-point favorite in this game.
Wow.
I know that it was a 87-57 win for Illinois last year in the season opener. Excited to get college basketball back here tonight. I know it's been rolling through the afternoon. Some games around the country. There's a really good one tonight, should be at least, between USC and Kansas State that's going to be out in Vegas. But it's opening week of college basketball. Illinois number 25. The excitement off of the Kansas win is still there, obviously, but now we get more viewing opportunities to formulate an opinion going forward. You got Eastern Illinois tonight. You got Oakland on Friday. And the big one against number 5 Marquette a week from tomorrow. So let's talk about Illinois and Eastern tonight. What do you think?
Well, it's just okay. I mean, since we're being fully
it's
transparent,
unfortunate because it's Big Ten stream, Big Ten Plus stream, not on regular TV. A lot of people won't be able to see it, so that's unfortunate.
And it's one of those games that you have to have one or two of these. It's like when you play some really bad football team in football early to get a victory. So it'll be good for Illinois to obviously see what they've got coming off that Kansas win, especially in terms of can they continue to play just like they did in that. So we'll see. I mean, they looked really, obviously, according to you, really good against that team they played before Kansas, whoever that was.
They played Ottawa.
Oh, yeah, from Canada.
Well, it was from Kansas.
Oh, Kansas. It just seems like such a letdown.
But that team wasn't much to write home about. Eastern, we'll see. I mean, so Eastern beat Iowa last year. They were a 31-point underdog and went into Iowa City and won. So you want some kind of reason of just like a little bit on your edge of your seat angst. It's like this could happen because they went and beat a Big Ten team last year.
Yes.
I don't think it will as far as this goes. There are a number of different pieces on Eastern. They went out and got a couple of transfer guards who are supposed to be decent.
Yeah.
But for the most part, you look on paper, Eastern should be severely overmatched. It's really more about Illinois trying to – you can highlight some things coming off the Kansas scrimmage. Like I think in general just trying to build a consistency on offense.
Agreed.
We've seen a really good performance. You put up 80-plus against Kansas. You hit a bunch of threes. That was really, really encouraging. Can Illinois build off of that to have an offense that is cohesive, that is running good within a good flow and getting guys involved? And we're still talking about an offense that doesn't really have a true point guard. How does that look? Is there turnover issues? I know Eastern wants to be aggressive defensively. Can they turn you over? Can you take care of the ball and that whole kind of thing? What does Terrence Shannon look like coming off a game he hits 5 threes? Is he going to continue on that type of – I mean, he's not going to hit 5 threes every night.
You're bringing up a good point there about Shannon. And here's why I say that. Illinois needs him to be a dog this year, right?
Yeah.
They need what he did against Kansas to be the norm. If that kid's going to be an All-American, and he's got every right to be, I mean, he's got all the ability to be an All-American. He was first-team All-Big Ten last year. He'll be that this year, I would assume, unless something goes marvelously wrong. But he's a kid that could vie for All-American status.
Yep.
I'm anxious to see how consistent Terrence Shannon is in terms of being a dog, if that makes sense.
Yes.
And when I say that term, it's the sense of, give me the ball, I'm going to go score, you're not stopping me.
Yep.
And sometimes you can be a dog on defense where nobody scores against you, but for Shannon, who's good defensively as well, his ability to score upwards of 25 to 30 is something, and I'm not expecting that every game. That is not an easy task right there at all. Double figures is an easy task for Shannon, but certainly not that. But I want to see Shannon against like an Eastern Illinois. Does he have that? Okay, this is because last year we saw him in big games.
Yes.
Kansas, even though it was an exhibition, it was a big game. Let's be honest. Number 1 team in the country coming in. He had his buddy that he played with at Texas Tech. That certainly helped light a fire for him, and he was ready to go and looked outstanding. I want to see that against an Eastern Illinois, against an Oakland, against teams like that before you get to a Marquette. So that'll be something to kind of pay attention to tonight. The other thing would be Coleman Hawkins and the idea that they are wanting him to shoot more, and he was able to knock down those threes against Kansas. They just want Coleman to be more active offensively and not just passing the ball and helping guys. I mean, defensively, he looked really good against Kansas when he was behind Hunter Dickinson and shutting him down for the most part. But I think those two guys to see kind of the flow for all. I mean, let's be honest, we don't need 28 out of Shannon to win this game tonight.
Yeah.
But I want to see him do it. I mean, I want to see him go out against an EIU and get 30.
Yeah. No, there's something to be said for a killer instinct. We know that Ayo Dosunmu had that. I mean, that's the last time Illinois. Well, I guess Kofi would have been an All-American as well, but like an All-American guard, it seemed like Ayo, and I think the stats would support this. If you were going to face whoever on a given night, you'd have to pull him off the floor. Otherwise, he was going to end up having 30. Like that was just the way he was going to be wired against whoever was on the court. So I think with Terrence, it's that killer instinct early in the game. Create that immediate separation between Illinois and Eastern, a team that, let's be honest, really shouldn't belong on the floor with you for very long. And I think that's something that Illinois obviously lacked last year. There were a lot of slow starts, a lot of clunky first halves, a team that could play up with the best in the country.
Yep.
When you think about UCLA and Texas, even clawed their way all the way back into the game at Purdue, but then, a dud on their home floor against Penn State or just what happened, whatever the heck that was, at bragging rights against Missouri. And there were a number of different examples where Illinois was kind of playing down to their competition and just didn't have that fire within them, where this can be a great learning and just kind of get your feet wet experience for Draven Gibbs-Lawhorn, Nico Moretti, Amani Hansberry. Get an opportunity. Dane Danger played 9 minutes against Kansas. Get him a good amount of minutes. How does that end up? Sincere played 8 minutes against Kansas. Let him get out there, get some minutes.
Luke.
How does Luke as well? How does that happen? Your starters put their foot on Eastern's neck from the very beginning and take it to them, and then obviously let Brad be the one that eases off the gas and throws some other guys out there and let that happen. I'd want to see, Terrence have like 18 points at halftime.
Right.
And the only reason he may not get 30, even though he very well could, is because he doesn't get the minutes. So that's something that I would want to see, and that leads into kind of the alpha dog assertiveness nature that we're looking for out of Terrence. And I think that would set the tone for this team, is that they're hungry. They don't care who's on the other side. They're going out there to play their best basketball. And, of course, that helps to build a team you can trust night in and night out, which obviously last year they weren't able to build to that.
I'd love to hear Kyle's thoughts as someone that obviously has a big reason to hope this Illinois team has a wonderful season this year. What do you guys look at when it comes to like a non-conference game that you should win pretty easy? Can the Crush bring the excitement like they did against Kansas?
It'll be a little difficult if they go up 30
you should just
within
pick
the first
one
10 minutes.
EIU player and just think he's Hunter Dickinson. That poor kid.
Jermaine Hamlin? No, you can't do that to him.
Wait, he's what?
He's on EIU.
Former Illini on EIU, yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
He's still playing?
Still playing.
Wait, he's not the one that went to Missouri.
No. This was a guy that barely
Oh,
played.
He's from Lincoln.
Yes.
Yep.
I'm sorry. He was a
You're
likable
thinking
kid.
of Jeremiah
I'm
Tillman.
thinking of Tillman. Sorry. For some reason, I'm like, well, how's he's like 38 years old
That'd
now.
be funny if Jeremiah Tillman shows up with the EIU Panthers at 28. I want one more shot at these guys.
He puts up 30 and 15 in a 48-point loss.
Jermaine Hamlin. Okay, no, I'm back with you now. He was a good kid.
Yeah.
I want to see him do some good things. Don't be
He
ripping
didn't
on
play
him.
that well, or he didn't play that much last year. Surprisingly, as a senior, now a grad, a fifth year, he only averaged 3 points, 2 rebounds per game last year. Played about 10 minutes.
Okay.
So played behind some guys in their front court, but I expect him to be their starting center tonight. And yeah, we'll see. In terms of just kind of scrolling down their roster real quick for you, Tiger Booker comes in as a point guard from Chicago. He played for former Illini assistant Billy Gillespie last year at Tarleton State. As a reserve, he averaged about 6.5 points per game. I know he's speedy, he's quick, he wants to get off the dribble into the lane, and we'll see. I think Ty Rodgers drawing that matchup is going to be interesting. This is kind of the start of, I think you'll see through this season, some speedier guards. What's that look like for Ty? Obviously a bigger body. I think at the other end, obviously Ty can body him up if that's the matchup that he draws, but kind of checking those guys and making sure they don't get in the lane and break you down. That'll be interesting. Nikhil Shelton was one of the top JUCO players last year in terms of his production. I mean, 24 points, 11 rebounds per game for a 6'3" guard.
Dang.
And now he comes in for Eastern, and a guy that shot the three well, so that's something that you're going to have to look at and make sure you're getting on him and making it tough for him to get going in this game. Caleb Donaldson also is a 6'5", good athlete. He put up 16 in the Eastern's win at Iowa last year, so he's another one that you don't want to get going. And I think offensively, Eastern's had some really tough times the first 2 years from Marty Simmons. They've ranked towards the bottom in the NCAA and offensive efficiency, and just it's been a rough go for them. Defensively, last year they turned people over. That was really the one thing. You look on their KenPom page, a lot of red, which you don't want, green, turnovers forced. So I think Illinois, of course, still with some new pieces offensively, still operating without a true point guard. Can you take care of the ball? Can you execute against an aggressive style defense? I think that's something I'll be looking for tonight. And yeah, I'll just hopefully you can kind of take for granted what you're going to get out of your top players, and it's maybe more so a focus on what's that bench depth look like, getting some other guys going that didn't play a lot against Kansas, and kind of just have that comfortable cruise to victory, which you'd expect against a team that you're almost 30 points favored over.
It's just good to get basketball. It's just good to get it back, isn't it?
It is.
And it's going to be a fun season for Illinois. Obviously, these early games, for a guy like me that I don't stream, I don't do that kind of stuff. So, I do, but not like that. So it's like, I'll kind of listen to it. The good news is I do a radio show with a guy that is a stud reporter for Illinois basketball. So I can learn all about it
nice
tomorrow.
Thing to say about Kyle?
Yeah. And you do pretty well, too, Pipes.
Oh,
while you're there.
It. I've tried for about 10 years.
So, it's just I'll put it this way. The scrimmage or the exhibition against Kansas now has me longing for the Marquette game, right?
Yep.
After, if they would have done a private, like they did last year, scrimmage against or whatever against Kansas, and you're kind of fishing for some ideas on how it went, all this kind of stuff, then I'd still be anxious for Eastern Illinois and whatever. I just said Oakland Friday.
Yep.
Because then it's like, well, I want to see how they fit on the court. I want to see how this does, how this works. Now, after they just played the number one team in the country at home and beat them and basically controlled the game, now I just want Marquette game to start like tonight.
Yep.
Because now I'm like, well, we beat the first team or number one team. Let's beat the fifth team or whatever in Marquette. I mean, just let's go. Line them up. Who's next? Tennessee, let's go. Come on down.
FAU, you went to the Final Four. We don't care.
Let's go. Colgate, wait, you're not on that list. So it's just one of those where I feel like that Kansas game has me salivating now for another big game, and EIU's not going to do it. All kudos to Marty Simmons, who was one hell of a basketball player back in my day. You talk about a guy that was a stud that could score a lot of points down in Lawrenceville. But certainly he's trying to rebuild Eastern, obviously. Oakland, they've had that same coach. Is he still there?
Yeah, Greg Campy.
Yeah, he's a good coach. But, man, just get me Marquette.
Let's do this real quick.
Is that next Monday?
That's next Tuesday.
Tuesday.
A week from tomorrow. So before we get out of here, we went as in-depth on Illinois Eastern as we probably can go. How about big picture? The last chance before the season officially starts to give a prediction, a vibe, a feel. There goes the camera.
Yep.
On what we're expecting from Illinois basketball this year. We're going to have to keep it short because we're up against it. But has Kansas, I think you put it very well. If we didn't have, obviously, the ability to watch the full 40 minutes of that basketball game, throw out a box score. If we just saw, John Rothstein tweets, Illinois beat Kansas in a close scrimmage, and we're like, well, that's great, but we don't know what it looked like. We don't know what the rotations were. We don't know any of that. We do know what it actually looked like. How much does that change or just inspire what you think this team will do this season?
I'm not saying it changed a lot because I thought this team would be good because they're old. That game against Kansas cemented that to me. This is a team that I think will be in so many games, will win so many games, and I mean a lot. I'm expecting big things out of this team. I'm expecting this team to challenge for a Big Ten title. I don't think this is the kind of team that's going to go to East Lansing or West Lafayette and shy away and not have a chance to win those games. So, and I don't think this is the kind of team that's going to have that one or two losses that you're like, why did we do that? Why did we have that bad loss? I just don't think they will. Now, here's the only negative to that. The shooting would be the one crippling thing that I think if they just get into a rut one game against Rutgers or whatever, or against Maryland, and they can't make anything, then it's hard to score points. And they don't necessarily have automatic underneath, give me Kofi Coburn for 2 or whatever and go on a little 6-0 run. But you have Shannon, you have Coleman, you have guys like Damask that I think will really kind of keep things together. I'm expecting a team that is going to win 20 games, even with this schedule, as daunting as it is, and a team that should finish in the top 3 of the Big Ten and have a really good seed at the NCAA tournament. And I kind of expected a little bit of that, but after beating Kansas, and don't tell me Kansas didn't try to win that game.
Oh, they did.
Their starters played 30-some minutes. I know they had one guy hurt, but that didn't make that big of a deal. That Kansas game definitely, now in my mind, I'm like, yep, that's exactly what I'm expecting out of this team. You said go short, and I went 38 minutes.
Perfect. Kyle, in about a minute, your take on this.
Me robbing Kyle of more words.
That's all right. Yeah, I mean, I pretty much agree with everything Lon said. I think, to me, I was somewhat skeptical throughout the offseason of a lot of the issues, the shooting, the point guard thing. I wasn't sure if I wanted to go as far as to say, yeah, this is the year they're going to break through the second weekend. They're going to compete at the top of the Big Ten. But seeing the Kansas game, I do think I was probably a little lower on them than I should have been. I'm a little more confident. I think that this is a team that the experience really popped in the preseason, and I think that they're going to lean on that, and I think it's going to give them a pretty high floor and allow them to take another step from last year. And I do think that, I think they cemented it to me as I think they're going to be top 4 in the Big Ten, 4 or 5 seed in the tournament, and I think that come March, I don't want to look 5 months ahead, but I think this team could do some damage.
Yep. I'll be shocked if they don't. Pipes? Well, are you going to hold off on this one?
I wrote about this today.
Oh, you did? I haven't read
I'm
that.
buying stock in this Illinois team. The Kansas game definitely inspired me. I think, I know we're up against it here, but how it looked without a true point guard, I was very skeptical of.
Yes.
It looks a lot more workable, a lot better so far, small sample size, than I would have expected, especially early. I think Marcus Damas passing, just IQ and everything plays into that. I think that he's a big piece of that. Coleman so far operating the high post. I like how it looks. And I just think, the veteran experience.
Huge.
I think there's more cohesion and just a one-track mindedness of this team.
Yep.
Like, for the team, tough, gritty, not having